Chapter 5650. Phew. But it didn't take long to give Jian Wushuang now. He had to go faster. So I can only go forward and get close to the fountain. Jian Wushuang, who opened his eyes, stared at Kuan Yin for a while. He found that there was no spring water in the spring. Although it was covered by mist, he could still see that it was an empty abyss. After staring for a long time, there will be a feeling of dizziness. Jian Wushuang didn't dare to look more, so he could only transmit his voice to Wuxia and ask if he knew. Unexpectedly, even Wuxia didn't know. This made Jian Wushuang a little curious. But now he can't get close, so he can only continue to devour it. Wow! As he approached Sanjiang, Jian Wushuang's divine body began to multiply as he swallowed his divine power with all his strength. At the time of Daojun, he was able to reach 50,000 times. The emperor, with the help of beasts, can explode to 100,000 times. And it is not the limit. In the extreme state, he can burst out 120,000 times the divine body. In other words, both his physical body and divine body can bear it, so that the boundaries of his basic divine body can also be raised to that level. It's just that there are too many treasures needed to upgrade to that level. Zhenling will also feel distressed. A tribulation realm powerhouse of the divine body genre, the treasures needed can support several origin tribulation realms. Moreover, he was about to leave the Temple of Qixin, and he could only look for treasures to enhance the divine body in other time and space in the future. But at that time, he was no match for the Temple of Qixin. Therefore, he has to work hard to improve, as much as he can improve. Anyway, it is free. The power of the beast god, Jian Wushuang shouted angrily, and a dark red aura burst out of his body. Instantly shocked everyone present. The rest of him is okay, knowing that he is beasts. Fan Feng looked at Jian Wushuang in surprise. She didn't expect Jian Wushuang to have a candle dragon. But the next moment, her breath also changed abruptly. A familiar breath rushed to his face. Phoenix is one of the 9 beasts. It is also made by a born beast god. But Jian Wushuang was not surprised. The opponent had beasts and gods. In ancient times, he had news about the soldiers of the beast gods. In order to get Zhulong together, he didn't read ancient books much. However, the beast weapon created by the phoenix is not a beast weapon that augments the divine body, but a beast weapon that is incarnate with the body. The reason why the opponent's divine body was so powerful in the emperor's time might also have something to do with that beast weapon. Otherwise, if the emperor wants to reach 90,000 times the divine body, it is not that simple. After Jian Wushuang exploded with the power of the beast god, the speed of devouring even accelerated. 300 years, 1/3 has passed, and Jian Wushuang's divine body has finally reached 70,000 times. At the same time, he also reached the distance of only one battle, becoming the closest one among all the people present. Although the walk is faster, but the improvement of the divine body is not the fastest. It was the backbone Luo. His divine body was a pair of withered bones. From the beginning 65,000 times, in 100 years, it directly rushed to 80,000 times. Everyone was surprised. Jian Wushuang and Fan Feng have beasts and magic weapons, and they can improve quickly. Jian Wushuang wanted to smash the opponent's divine body to pieces, to get a good understanding. Of course, just think about it. Finally see it. There is another reason why Jian Wushuang has been slow to improve, and that is because he is curious about what kind of treasures in this cave can burst out so much divine power. So he was mainly to adapt to the absorption of divine power, and continue to move forward, and did not concentrate on absorbing the divine power. After approaching the cave now he glanced down. With just a glance, Jian Wushuang felt a violent force, which instantly invaded his eyes. The pain instantly made him lose his mind, and he retreated 100 feet to the back. This scene frightened everyone. Wuxia and Huiqing quickly put down their practice and rushed over. Brother Wushuang, what is going on? Huiqing stepped forward and asked in amazement. Is there some kind of creature in it? Jian Wushuang felt that his head was deep and his eyes were tingling. He couldn't open his eyes at all. He could only close his eyes and shook his head, unable to speak. Wuxia put his arm on Jian Wushuang's shoulder and said, "It should be a backlash." After a short rest, it will be fine. Haha. Fan Feng sneered, disdainfully said. What a fool, just like my stupid sister. Don't you know that there are forbidden things to watch? Hearing the other party's ridicule, Wu's expression was cold, but he did not dare to speak back. But Huiqing was not afraid, stood up and looked straight away, and said angrily, Just forget it if you don't remind. Why bother to be so mocking? A bunch of idiots. I really don't know. What's the use of training you natives? Fan Feng closed his eyes after mocking a few words. Jian Wushuang waved his hand. He didn't think it was stupid. When in doubt, check it out. This is the way of the strong. If you are blindly timid is afraid, how can you become a strong one? So there is no need to bother with each other. After seeing Jian Wushuang okay, Huiqing and Wuzhua also went to their places to continue practicing. But Jian Wushuang was away from Baizhang and began to recover from the injury caused by the backlash. He has the power of life. Even if it is a powerful backlash, it only takes the time of a stick of incense to recover. After recovering, he suddenly found that his eyes had changed. Seeing through at a glance, with supernatural power, his eyes actually contain more than 100,000 times the power of the divine body. How is this possible? Jian Wushuang himself couldn't believe it. He just glanced at the cave, and then was bitten back. But after the restoration, it gave him more than 100,000 times the divine body. Although only the divine body of the eyes has reached 100,000 times, it is constantly being distributed. He raised the divine body 1,000 times in just one day. I understand. Jian Wushuang's face leaked joy, and he stepped forward and approached the cave directly. This scene surprised Fan Feng, not because Jian Wushuang approached the cave again, but because she discovered that Jian Wushuang's backlash had disappeared. The backlash faded in just one day, which was too fast. Even if you have a restored treasure, it will take at least 100 years. Originally, she thought Jian Wushuang would waste this opportunity for nothing, but she didn't expect to be able to recover again, and once again reached the edge of the spring. Wuxia and others looked at each other and smiled, not surprising. But when Jian Wushuang looked into the cave with his head hooked again, his jaw dropped in shock. As you can imagine, Jian Wushuang was shaken back again. But this time Jian Wushuang saw something vague. Unlike last time, I didn't see anything. Chapter 56-51. This shows that his power has become stronger. And if he keeps repeating it, he will be able to see exactly what is hidden in the cave. Although this is not important, it can help him quickly improve his divine body. Wow! This time Jian Wushuang only took a few breaths to repair the backlash of the divine body and return to the peak. The power of the beast god, Jian Wushuang let out a low growl, and the divine body soared to 100,000 times in an instant. The burst of divine power instantly swept the people nearby. Apart from Fan Feng, this force is familiar. This force burst out when Jian Wushuang was fighting against the ancient temple. Fan Feng was not surprised at this. The emperor was able to use the power of the beast within the beast gods. And it was normal. It's just that Jian Wushuang's power of the beast can increase by 20,000 divine bodies, which surprised her a bit. This ability to manipulate has already exceeded the robbery realm. She didn't know that Jian Wushuang had the origin of all things that belonged to Jian Wushuang in the origin of Jian Wushuang when he merged with the beasts. The current beast soldier and Jian Wushuang are like one body. Naturally, it is much stronger when used by others. After Jian Wushuang exploded, he stepped to the cave again. This time many people have reacted. Every time Jian Wushuang is backlashed, he will quickly upgrade his divine body, which is more than they can sit and absorb for several years. And the recovery is fast. Wuxia and Huiqing knew that Jian Wushuang had the power of life, but the others didn't. The backbone Luokan was itchy, stood up before Jian Wushuang could go first, and reached the edge of the cave first. But before he stretched his head to see the appearance in the cave, he was overthrown by a huge force and retreated beyond 10,000 battles, unable to stand up for a long time. Fan Feng sneered, but no one came forward to check the backbone. Several people who were still eager to try stopped this idea. I think Jian Wushuang must have some ability to quickly get rid of backlash. What a lucky little guy. Tongtian Buddha looked at Jian Wushuang with kind eyebrows and continued to absorb his divine power. Among the 10 of them, they all have double cultivation. The original realm is very high. There is no need to pursue too much of the divine body. Of course, it is like this kind of free opportunity, and naturally you have to take it well. Everything depends on one's own good fortune. However, Jian Wushuang had a soft spot for the divine body. At the beginning, the physical body was refined to perfection, and even the origin and the divine body were combined, in order to one day be able to make the divine body first class and reach the peak. The source is strong. That is the matter of the source. The divine body can't direction either. When Jian Wushuang was at Daojun, he had survived several difficulties with his divine body. He will not forget the importance of the divine body. Jian Wushuang, who came to the edge of the cave, looked down at the cave again. This time he saw more clearly, and the vague figure below was a skeleton. A golden skeleton. The terrifying power contained above was filled with Jian Wushuang's body, and the backlash was extremely terrifying. Jian Wushuang gritted his teeth and stared at him, while the divine body continued to explode, directly using 3 times the power of the beast god. Let his divine body increase to about 140,000 times. The divine body surpassing the limit caused Jian Wushuang's body to tremble. If there is no such shock, he can use the power of the beast 3 times as much, and he can give full play to his strength. But now that it has been severely affected, it can only barely support it. Countless divine powers poured into his body. The original star sky, half of the universe that was lit, had more than 5,000 black holes, and at the same time swallowed that violent divine power. At this moment, Jian Wushuang's body was used to its extreme, and its operation reached its peak. The divine power absorbed was enough for Jian Wushuang to break through 100,000 times the divine body. But he still didn't take a step back, but want to enter the cave. Jian Wushuang looked carefully at the skeleton, and he was familiar with the aura above it. The skeleton lacks an arm, a golden skeleton, where it stands like a sky. A touch of phantom made Jian Wushuang a little dazed. Dongjun. The owner of this skeleton is Dongjun. Those human races encountered in the starry sky. In Morwa time and space, the desolate god lord got Dongjun's inheritance and Dongjun's arm. Jian Wushuang knew Dongjun's aura very well. How could his bones be here? Jian Wushuang was puzzled. The desolate god lord he saw at the beginning only obtained a section of Dongjun's arm and the stone axe. This skeleton appears here. I am afraid it has nothing to do with the desolate god, but is related to the of disagreement. Right now, Jian Wushuang had no intention of devouring those divine powers, but wanted to ask the true spirit, the origin of this skeleton. Dongjun was beheaded by extinction. This skeleton is here. I am afraid there is a certain connection with extinction. Just when he thought about it, a terrifying force instantly rose out of the cave, and Jian Wushuang was also knocked out very far by this breath. The rest of the people were also shaken back hundreds of battles. The divine power that soared quickly withdrawn, and then disappeared. When everyone looked again, they only saw a one-armed skeleton suspended above the cave. Extinction, Jian Wushuang said in horror. The power of death, all the divine power erupted by the golden skeleton into the skeleton. And the phantom on the skeleton is the appearance of extinction. Jiejia. I knew you were going to run. I've been waiting here for a long time. Mieshin clenched a fist with one hand, and the power of death instantly swept everyone, and then transformed into an unmatched divine power. This is just a clone of extinction. The strength is not very strong, but the opponent can manipulate the golden skeleton. The strength is different. These people, who don't even have the ability to directly see the bones, how to deal with the extinction of manipulating the bones. Jian Wushuang didn't hesitate, and when he discovered that it was extinction, he transmitted the sound to the true spirit. It's late. Mieshing manipulated the golden bones and shook his head. A divine power barrier suddenly rose up all around. The power of the enchantment was simply not something Jian Wushuang could destroy. Even if the true spirit came, it would take a lot of effort. At this time, Yu reading www. There was a simmering sound from outside of Akanshu, Calm. Jian Wushuang knew that the true spirit had arrived. It's just that the two of them have cut off their voice transmission because of the barrier. I just don't know how long it will take for the real spirit to break the barrier. The current extinction, manipulating the golden skeleton, and using that divine power. Even if they are added together, they are not opponents. The rest of the people just stabilized their bodies, and when they heard Jian Wushuang's words, they were all taken aback. Destroyed temple. Zhen Wuyang took the lead in guessing something. The others also suddenly realized. Fan Feng had just recovered, but he didn't understand the matter of extinction. At this time he exclaimed, "Small carving skill, you dare to get an axe at the door of the temple of Qishan? Aren't you afraid of death? Thanks, Tusk, let me see who this is." Mieshing slowly turned his head, looked at Fan Feng, and a purple light burst into his eyes. Chapter 56-52. That beam of power surpassed 150,000 supernatural powers. It directly penetrated Fan Feng's head. Everyone was shocked. The previously injured backbone Luo couldn't help but retreat to the edge of the barrier. The strength gap is too big. The divine power of extinction and manipulation of the golden bones can at least explode beyond 200,000 times the divine power. Much stronger than the ancient temple. Jian Wushuang was seriously injured at this time, and the backlash, like a brand, remained in his body for a long time. Even the strong vitality constant cleaning can't be removed. Everyone master true spirit needs a stick of incense time. As long as we resist the other side, we can live. Jian Wu's double face color is low, and while removing the power of backlash, he comforts everyone. Zhen Wuyang clenched his fist and whispered, "Is it time for a stick of incense?" He said he was ready to do it. They are all top inheritors with a face, and it is impossible for them to just admit their fate. We'll definitely make a move. Fan Feng, who had just recovered his head, came to Zhen Wuyang's side and said coldly, "Don't rush to do it. His strength is not as simple as you think. We will all die if we don't join hands." After discovering that something was not right, Fan Feng did not stand up, but chose to join hands with everyone. But among the 10 people, Jian Wushuang and the backbone Luo were both injured and couldn't help Meng at all. The strength of Dongsheng and Wanyan is too weak. Among the remaining people, only Huiqing, Wuzhua, and Fan Feng were fairly strong. It wasn't that Jian Wushuang looked down on Zhen Wuyang and Tongtian Buddha. The strength of these two people was still far behind. At most, it is comparable to the general Tribulation Realm. If you want to fight with the Tribulation Realm powerhouse, your current strength is not enough. If you are scared, you don't have to do it. Zhen Wuyang's words were arrogant. This made Jian Wushuang a little anxious. Only he knows the terrible extinction. Don't be careless, she's right. Everyone is going to die if you don't join hands. As long as you stick to the incense stick, Master True Spirit will break the barrier. We just have to withstand it. Jian Wushuang hurriedly spoke. It's just the time for a stick of incense, which he guessed. If you don't give these people some confidence, they can't hold it. Now it seems unnecessary. Zhen Wuyang and the others are not without confidence, but because they are too confident. Jian Wushuang drew out a mass of life force and threw it directly at the backbone Luo, shouting, "Next!" A group of green power flew towards the backbone Luo, which made the greed in the eyes of Daisheng even more triumphant. The next moment, he shot directly and rushed towards the backbone Luo. The speed is so fast that it surpasses everyone's imagination. The backbone Luo just froze for a moment, and saw the terrifying face of extinction, and the powerful aura spread over it. Just when he felt that what was going to be finished, the extinct body was frozen on the spot. I saw an extra figure behind Miesheng. It was also the only strong one who caught the extinct figure among all the people present. Click. Huiqing. Huiling squeezed Miesheng's ankle, shouted, and directly threw Miesheng out of 10,000 battles. The golden flames that erupted from Huiqing directly surpassed extinction. "It's you who robbed my disciple." Huiqing's figure rose into the air, looking down at the extinction, with an extremely domineering attitude. Everyone couldn't help taking a breath. Unexpectedly, Huiqing would be so powerful now. Jian Wushuang couldn't help but exclaim, "The divine power!" just extinct, was at least 200,000 times. Huiqing was able to suppress the opponent. The current extinction has only a little power of death, but it possesses into Dongjun's bones, and can mobilize the divine power in the bones. However, the clone of extinction has limited strength, and has not been able to mobilize much. This made Jian Wushuang worried. If he hadn't been attacked by extinction, he would be able to deal with it at his peak state. But now he was injured, and he was not an opponent at all. Unexpectedly, at the critical moment, Huiqing stood up again. Miesheng stood up from the ground with difficulty, staring at Huiqing in the air. Her eyes changed in shock, and she shot instantly. Boom! This time, the divine power exploded from extinction was more than 250,000 times. Obviously, he is constantly getting acquainted with this body. A flash had already arrived in front of Huiqing. With only one arm extinct, the hand knife slashed towards Huiqing, and at the same time a huge purple thunder burst out of his eyes, facing Huiqing's chest. Jian Wushuang's strength recovered a lot, and he quickly reminded, "Be careful." At this time, Wu Zua and others also exploded in strength, soaring to the sky, going to help. Dong Sheng and Wan Yan were persuaded by Jian Wushuang to come back. He can still see through the strength of these two people. It's just an ordinary pinnacle, and going up is to die. It's better to protect him here. The backbone Luo was astonished, absorbing the life force sent by Jian Wushuang. The backlash on his body disappeared instantly, and at the same time, the backlash was transformed into divine power, and the divine body directly exploded 90,000 times. When I saw the death in the air, his eyes were full of killing intent. Ha! The figure flashed into the air, and he tore off the shattered clothes at random, leaking the bones of his upper body. Aha! The backbone Luo clenched his fists with both hands and shouted angrily. The breath on his body suddenly changed, and his eyes became sharper. Jian Wushuang below looked in his eyes, a little surprised in his heart. It seems that everyone has a chassis. Backbone Luo should have used some kind of peak secret method, and also the peak secret method of the divine body flow, instantly making the divine body 100,000 times, and also broke out along with the origin, directly possessing the power of the tribulation realm. Also joined the battle group. Not only was Jian Wushuang surprised, but even extinction was also shocked. Why is there so much power in the tribulation realm suddenly appeared in the Temple of Qi? Forget Fan Feng, the head of the 18 gods. He already knew the details of the other party in ancient times. But now, even among the inheritors he has never looked at, they have such a heaven-defying peak, and they can actually burst out the power of the tribulation realm. Especially Huiqing burst out with the power he imagined. It was even more terrifying than the Jiangshang he had taken away. At the beginning, he just thought that Huiqing with Jiangshang was extraordinary. Now it seems that he was wrong. It is precisely because of Huiqing's difficulty that Jiangshang has the power to fight against the sky. Boom! Extinction broke out again, directly shaking everyone apart. 250,000 times the divine power already had the combat power of the three tribulations realm. Even if Huiqing and each of them had the combat power of the first tribulation realm, and even the second tribulation realm, they could not be opponents of extinction. Go and die. A golden light burst out from all over Miesheng's body. 250,000 times of supernatural power, all exploded. Speed and power doubled. The figure flashed and came to Wu Zua. With one knee on top, a cloud of purple thunder in his palm, instantly severely wounded Wu Zua and fell from the air. End of this chapter. Chapter 56-53. Fortunately, Jian Wushuang's life force caught Wu Zua in time. Otherwise this time, Wu Zua must fall. Wu Zua, who had recovered from his injury, backed away in an instant, fearing extinction would target him again. The strength of extinction now, once it targets someone, someone will fall. This time it was Jian Wushuang in time. But it won't be easy to say next time. Seeing Wu Zua flying around again and again, Miesheng had not only greed in his eyes, but also a murderous intent in his eyes. This is going to be true. That trace of killing intent keeps getting bigger. The Buddha Tongtian felt the most real, and the Buddha light on his body broke out again, and a mighty universe came instantly, wrapping everyone together. Tongtian, leave it to me. Zhen Wuyang nodded to Tongtian Buddha. The two seemed to have some kind of cooperation. The extinction who was excluded was about to attack the universe cover, but found that the pale blue universe cover had shrunk in an instant, and only wrapped Zhen Wuyang alone. Thanks, strong body. I'm going to see how powerful your divine power is. Zhen Wuyang roared. Heaven and earth eclipsed. The huge real martial arts came. That was the face of Zhen Wuyang himself. At this moment, Zhenwu was right in front of him. The real Wuyang, who was transformed into a tens of thousands of battles, resisted the punch of extinction alone. This makes the extinction somewhat unexpected. What was unexpected was not how powerful Zhen Wuyang was, but the universe cover, which was able to block his attack. That was a punch with 250,000 times the supernatural power. It was actually blocked. Fan Feng stood by, his eyelids trembling constantly. She was once the top 3 ultimate emperor in Morwa time and space. How could so many people surpass her after recovering in a blink of an eye? Now Zhen Wuyang's strength has surpassed her. There is also Hui Qing, and the universe cover displayed by the Tongtian Buddha. Originally thought that resuscitating her was to save the predicament. Unexpectedly, there are so many people who are stronger than her. The long-lost sense of oppression in my heart made her haggard again. She could not forget the period when she was suppressed by the great Juyin in ancient times. It's just that the great Emperor Juyin at that time was too powerful, already rivaling the Lord of the Universe. That is the powerhouse of the 3 tribulations realm, who has mastered the universe. It was much stronger than the extinction of possessing and entering Dongjun's bones now. This made Fan Feng's heart very uncomfortable. I thought that the strong people in the past have fallen, and how she should be the first person. Who would have thought that now even the top 3 can't get in? Although the universe cover is strong, it can't stop the continuous attack of extinction. 200,000 times the supernatural power is not that simple. The next moment, the universe cover began to crack. Zhen Wuyang's breath also began to decline. With just 2 breaths, Zhen Wuyang couldn't bear the attack of extinction. With a punch, even if his true martial art has reached the level of the universe, he still can't stop it. Miexing raised his hand, stretched out the palm of the skeleton, and began to gather divine power. A group of hot purple electric lights appeared in the palm of his hand. From the size of a fist, it instantly expanded to the size of 10,000 battles. The power contained in the upper part caused everyone to take a breath, and the color of fear was leaking out of the face. Everyone must die, Miexing shouted, and directly smashed the purple electric light down everyone. Although he didn't know whether Jian Wushuang's incense stick was true or false, he knew that this was the temple of Qishan, the chassis of the true spirit. It will change later. These people must be dealt with quickly. He could feel that Jian Wushuang's strength was constantly rising. If you don't solve these people, wait for Jian Wushuang to recover, and it will be even more difficult. Jian Wushuang, now after the success of Hadao, is extremely terrifying in strength. No one knows if the strength displayed on the Tomb God Mountain is full. Extinction dare not delay. The purple electric light got out and blasted directly at the crowd. Jian Wushuang's eyes shrank, knowing that if he didn't make a move this time, all these people would definitely fall. Others forget it. But now among these people, there are Huiqing, Wuzhua, and Zhen Wuyang. These people must not fail to fall. To travel to another time and space, these people still need to roam together, so that they can deal with extinction. Can't just watch it like that. Phew. Although Jian Wushuang's strength has dropped a lot now, he can't make a shot himself, but he still has a Guantian chessboard. With countless pawn-sized chess pieces above, he recovered hundreds of them. All have the perfect combat power. Now it comes in handy. Among them, there are several strengths that are comparable to Tribulation Realm. Go, Jian Wushuang pointed out. The phantom of the Guantian chessboard descended, and more than 100 bodies above began to tremble, and then opened their eyes. Block him, Jian Wushuang issued an order. Without any hesitation, these recovered chess pieces rushed towards the purple lightning. It's like fire fighting the fire, not regretting death. With the obstacles of these chess pieces, Zhen Wuyang and the others began to retreat one after another. But the power of electricity is so simple. All the chess pieces were destroyed, and the remaining power still shook everyone to death. Even Huiqing was seriously injured. Huiqing now has the power of the second tribulation realm. Apart from Jian Wushuang, he is the strongest person. But now everyone has done their best. They are not opponents yet, and they have been seriously injured. Although Miesheng was surprised by Jian Wushuang's methods, he didn't think much about it. Jian Wushuang caught this point. He thought that Extinction would know about the Guantian chessboard, but he didn't seem to know it. Although the first true king said that no one knew that he was the treasure of time and space, the Extinction was an old monster that crawled out of the heavens. Teacher Xuani is in the future. The Extinction is in the past. Since I don't know the existence of Guantian chessboard, I am afraid that the methods are not as clever as Teacher Xuani, and the strength is naturally worse. This also made Jian Wushuang a sigh of relief. Although it was a half-step 7 tribulation realm on the surface, Jian Wushuang was not sure that the opponent didn't have any whole cards. You know, Miesheng killed Dongjun. Dongjun's breath, in Jian Wushuang's view, was probably not weaker than Qi Shun. At least it was the 7 tribulations realm, even stronger. Of course, when Dongjun was beheaded, the Extinction was still in the heavens, and the Extinction at that time was much stronger than it is now. Jian Wushuang did not hesitate at this time, but stood up. This time, either he will die or these people will live. Or die together. Yu reading www.akanshu.com. It's better to be a hero. Jian Wushuang stepped forward. Dong Sheng and Wan Yin wanted to stop them. Although their strength was preserved, Jian Wushuang needed Jian Wushuang to help them resist the purple electro-optical aftermath, and it was useless to go up now. Jian Wushuang. Extinction. The two faced each other, and the next moment, Xisheng shot directly. The corners of Jian Wushuang's eyes trembled. He didn't say a word yet. Why did he start his hand? This hero is also a little aggrieved. Boom! Hardly resisting Miesheng's palm, Jian Wushuang retreated 100 feet. A powerful divine power still gathered on his chest, which remained for a long time. End of this chapter. Chapter 56-54. If it weren't for the beast god soldier to absorb and resist, I'm afraid he would be seriously injured this time. Extinction, I'm very curious. You have calculated me several times and you really want to kill me. Why should you not take my origin? Jian Wushuang was very curious. This Extinction stared at him. He understood that. After all, it can swallow his life force. He is the greatest opportunity for Extinction. But he has been shooting in the temple of Qishan. He is really going to fall. Even if the source is swallowed by the extinct law body, how can he retreat? After Miesheng heard it, he didn't explain, but continued to take action. No opportunity for Jian Wushuang to delay time at all. As long as I can kill you, I can retreat with my whole body. You don't need to worry about this. In fact, you should be proud to be one with you. Then you and I will become the master of this starry sky together. Have fun. Miesheng laughed frantically. After hearing these words, everyone couldn't help but look at Jian Wushuang. Obviously they don't know these things. Jian Wushuang frowned and said coldly, "Why don't you let me swallow you? And the entire starry sky can be given to you, would you? To swallow the source is to swallow the source. There is no such thing as a unity. Listen to my advice. Your strength is too weak. The starry sky is very deep. Even if you swallow my death power, you can't hold it. If you don't grasp it, it's not what you said." Jian Wushuang lowered his eyebrows. A violent life force burst out instantly. All the backlash from his body was removed. The strength instantly returned to its peak. Jian Wushuang took a breath, and when he looked at Daisheng, a smile leaked from the corner of his mouth. "It seems that you are reluctant to say something useful." Jian Wushuang stared at Daisheng, but the aura on his body exploded to the extreme. The ultimate under normal conditions now also has the pinnacle of the one tribulation realm, the power of life. After he became the emperor, especially after helping the true spirit to revive the body of the god, became extremely powerful, not as weak as the Extinction imagined. He just wanted to test the details of extinction. Since the other party's mouth is so hard, before he left some fear for the other party. Let Miexing know that when he leaves this time, when he returns again, he will exceed the cognition of Miexing. The next time he returns, he will surely behead the opponent, swallow the power of death, and rise to the top. Ever ancient. Phew. A cold wind suddenly blew in the suppressed space. The blowing extinction is a little uncomfortable. When he was at Daojun, he peeped into the power of the starry sky, but he couldn't recognize the death. But now Jian Wushuang was able to truly use this terrifying starry sky power. His face was full of shock. Change! Jian Wushuang looked up to the sky and roared. His figure suddenly changed drastically. The breath on his body has also changed color. Instantly promoted to the peak state, and directly promoted the peak state to the extreme. No one knows how powerful Jian Wushuang is now. If the ancient temple of the frozen demon race appeared in front of him, he would have the confidence to kill the opponent's soul with a single punch. There was a trace of blue electric arc in the light blue arrogance on his body. Jian Wushuang's eyes all turned light blue. He turned his head slightly to look towards extinction, and said, "How is it? The strength is not bad." He now has the three tribulations realm, and is even comparable to the master of the universe who masters the universe. Song. The moment the Julian sword was pulled out, absolute killing intent broke out. Jian Wushuang at this time stood at the top of the killing. When Fan Feng, who was badly injured, saw Jian Wushuang pull out the Julian sword, he was in a daze as if he saw the shadow of a peerless emperor from the ancient times. Zhen Wuyang and Tongtian Buddha showed incredible glances. At the beginning of the Tomb Mountain, they only saw Jian Wushuang fighting against the ancient temple from a distance, and did not feel the killing aura on Jian Wushuang. When I felt it up close, I couldn't help but trembled. Where did Huiqing stand? Looking at Jian Wushuang excitedly, as if everything had returned to the scenes of the fleeing from the Great Famine. Jian Wushuang once again saved the world. This is the power of the stars. Miexing couldn't believe his eyes. Jian Wu had no expression on both sides, but nodded coldly. The power of the starry sky on him has been condensed into reality, but compared with the power of life, it is not his original power. After all, he hasn't lit up the starry sky yet. Lighting up the starry sky, what is cultivating is the origin, and he has no time to cultivate these years. However, in the future, he is confident to light up his own starry sky, and will not use the power of the stolen starry sky. Ha! Miexing gritted his teeth, and made a low muffled sound deep in his throat. The power of the stars. He has seen it, but has never used it. That is a level of power related to reincarnation, time and space. Jian Wushuang didn't become that kind of existence, but he mastered this kind of strength, which really surprised him and jealous. Why does this power not belong to him? Even if you have mastered the power of the starry sky, you are still an emperor, an ant that was ravaged by me. Miexing gave a furious rage, and shot directly. But now Jian Wushuang had already pulled out the Julian sword. Even if the extinction exploded with 250,000 times the divine power, it would not be his opponent. Starry Sky Catalog. Jian Wushuang was not accustomed to the opponent's problems, and directly used the strongest sword. At this moment, the barrier began to collapse. It wasn't the true spirit that broke it, but the power erupted from the Starry Sky Catalog, crushing the barrier into a piece of paper, and it was broken with a poke. As for the extinction of possessed golden bones, it was directly shot out of the source of the law body, and the extinction of the golden bones was lost. It was just an ordinary extinction that could block this sword. Exit. Jian Wushuang slashed with the sword. The source of extinction was instantly turned into powder. As for the golden bones, they have lost a trace of golden light now. This is the first time Jian Wushuang has used the star catalog since he became the emperor. Even he himself didn't expect to be so powerful. He directly destroyed the source of the dying body, and even the golden skeleton was slashed by his sword, losing a trace of golden power. Jian Wushuang held the sword in one hand, panting. If it is an ordinary move, he can use the starry sky swordsmanship, and can still fight for a while. but the strongest sword in the Starry Sky catalog. Even if he becomes the emperor, it will still be a heavy burden on him when using it. Suddenly drained the power of the stars in his body. Even the eternal changes couldn't be maintained for too long, and they went straight back to normal. At this time, the true spirit also slowly flew over. After feeling that the aura of extinction had disappeared, he sighed in relief, but the killing intent in his eyes did not recede. How can you allow others to sleep soundly on the couch? This is not the first time. Zhenling kept calculating in his heart, and when Jian Wushuang was sent away, he would launch an all-out war against the Temple of Destruction. End of this chapter. Chapter 56-55. Since I don't think about it, don't think about it. Jian Wushuang and the others are his backs. No matter whether they succeed or not, they can give him a thought. As for the others, he can't control so much, he can only fight. It can't be delayed any longer. Otherwise, too much time is given to extinction, and there will be changes in the end. Wow! Zhenling waved his hand, and directly recovered all the injuries on everyone. This is the origin that mobilized the Temple of Qixin. Jian Wushuang's breath also recovered, but the power of the Starry Sky could not be recovered. At least let Jian Wushuang rest for half an hour, before he can completely restore the power of the Starry Sky, and use the strongest means. Since the life-killing law body has disappeared, you should continue to practice here. This time I will protect you personally, until we go to the heavens together. Zhenling said solemnly. Everyone was flattered, and after thanking them, they returned to practice again. Jian Wushuang knew what the true spirit meant. This was to prevent these people from revealing the matter of extinction, which was to protect him in disguise. For this, Jian Wushuang is naturally grateful. Niexing obviously came for Jian Wushuang. If this matter is known by other inheritors, if you can't hold it that day, let the true spirit surrender Jian Wushuang. Then it will be troublesome. Although the true spirit can suppress it at will, if it loses its majesty, then it's really over. Convincing power is the first. Sitting cross-legged around the golden skeleton, everyone once again upgraded their divine body. Without the shelter of the cave, they were far away this time. Jian Wushuang is the same. Although Jian Wushuang's divine body had reached 80,000 times now, he still couldn't get close. He originally wanted to ask True Spirit about Dongzhen's affairs, but when he thought True Spirit would ask him why he knew Dongzhen's affairs, that would be bad. There are some things, it is better not to say more. Jian Wushuang practiced honestly. After this battle, everyone's views on Jian Wushuang have also changed. Although I know that the extinction is for Jian Wushuang, but when looking at Jian Wushuang, there was no resentment, more jealousy in his eyes. Especially Fan Feng and the backbone Luo. Although on the surface he dared not make times before Jian Wufang, but at the bottom of his heart was very jealous. Fan Feng in particular was so jealous when he confronted Emperor Yin that his sisters did not agree. In fact, it was all because of her careful eye. This kind of person is the most terrifying. 100 years have passed by in a hurry. In the blink of an eye, it's time to start. On this day, everyone stopped practicing, because the true spirits have already set up a teleportation formation here, ready to move them directly to the tomb of the gods, and then go to the heavens together. After the 10 people stepped onto the teleportation formation, the true spirit was not in a hurry or slow. Under Zhu Qi's eyes, he put Dongzhen's golden bones into his mustard seeds very smoothly. Ahem, that little Zhu Qi, help me tell your house master. He'll take away the mountain and forest secret realm too. Before Zhu Qi could reply, he jumped into the teleportation formation. The next moment, the teleportation array burst out with dazzling light, and instantly took the entire mountain and forest secret realm into the tomb of the gods. No wonder they were asked to go to the tomb of the gods first, and then to the heavens. Feelings are for this secret mountain forest. Jian Wushuang was okay. He was used to it. That's how the original Mayan mountain was obtained. Although other people are surprised, they dare not reveal disrespect in the face of the true spirit. Follow me to the tombstone. Zhenling beckoned, and led the crowd from the top of the tomb god mountain into a passage. It's black in front of me. When they appeared again, Everyone had arrived at a huge dojo. This is the Kishin's dojo, and the place where the tombstone is located. It was originally planned to be opened in the near future, but the tombstone has not been dug out, and it has to be delayed for a while. Zhenling explained as he walked, leading everyone to the core of the dojo, below the Faxiang of the gods. Jian Wushuang and others raised their heads to look at the gods. Jian Wushuang had known the face of Qixin for a long time. He even touched the body of the body how many times, so he was very calm. There is no surprise. Others are different. When the Tongtian Buddha and Zhen Wuyang were faced with the physiognomy of such a powerful person, they bowed their heads for the first time, and then bowed their heads, not daring to look directly. Wan Yin and Dong Sheng. These two are also similar, and after shock, they are also pious. However, among the younger generation, I can't help but look up and down. The true spirit went to the place where the incense burner was placed, and lighted himself a few incense sticks. Fan Feng, the head of the 18 gods, fell to his knees, tears streaming down, but he did not dare to make any noise, for fear of disturbing the cleanliness of this place. 3 great gods, 18 gods, 108 messengers. The Divine Master won't say anything. They are all 6 Calamity Realm powerhouses, and their strength is terrifying. God generals are different, just like messengers they are all superb. But each of the gods is the ultimate emperor. They are the closest people to Qixin, and Qixin treats them like children. When these gods will see the face of the gods, Yu reading www.akanshu. Calm will naturally reveal sadness. Seeing this scene, I found that Fan Feng was not so annoying. After making a few sticks of incense, I inserted the incense burner at will. Seeing Fan Feng, who was kneeling on the ground, a gentle smile leaked out. "Get up, boy." Fan Feng wiped the tears from the corner of his eyes, and stood up respectfully. Then Zhenling turned his head and glanced at all of them, with his hands behind his back, and said, "There was once a great existence who predicted the future for the Hall of Uprising. He said that when I got up from the Hall of Uprising, there would be a peerless and powerful person, but this the price of the existence of a bit. But it will be a complete success. In the past, I was very convinced, but after seeing you, I have changed my previous views. I think you all have the opportunity to become that peerless powerhouse." The true spirit said so truthfully, so that everyone's eyes were full of yearning. Who doesn't want to be a peerless powerhouse? As for one's success, it is not oneself who is dead. Here, I wish you all the best, Soaring Realm. Returning to the Temple of Qixin as soon as possible, returning to your hometown, and saving the long river of time and space. Zhenling waved his hand, and directly evoked a jar of wine. And in front of everyone a bowl also appeared. The drinks fly by themselves. Everyone took the bowl, and looked at the true spirit with scorching eyes. "It's done." Zhenling directly lifted the jar, and finished it in one sip. Everyone did not hesitate and drank cleanly. Jian Wushuang grinned, only feeling that the wine was extremely spicy. Not only did it not help the divine body, but it also made him dizzy. Obviously not a good wine. Even the Siaf wine. Is Zhenling unwilling to offer some good ones? Just as Jian Wushuang vomited in his heart, a mirror-like mirror rose in his mind, and then his body returned to normal. In the mirror, the face of the true spirit appeared. Chapter 56-56. After seeing the true face in the mirror, Jian Wushuang was shocked. "Hey Jian Wushuang." Zhenling leaked a smirk. Jian Wushuang's heart is a little hairy. Why does he think the wine is poisonous? Is he afraid that people like them will betray the Temple of Qixin? But this time, Jian Wushuang had crossed the abdomen of a gentleman with the heart of a villain. "Master True Spirit, what is this for?" Jian Wushuang asked cautiously. The true spirit peeked out an arm from the mirror and said, "This is a treasure prepared for you. Remember that the treasure must be stored in your own origin space. Otherwise the cost of transporting into other time and space will be more expensive than yours. Arcana is even more expensive." "Yes," Jian Wushuang quickly agreed, and then took the mustard seed. These are some treasures for them before leaving. After all, in another time and space, no one knows where they will appear. It doesn't hurt to prepare more. This time, the true spirit paid out of his own pocket and took out a part of the treasure from his own collection and distributed it to everyone. Not only was it given to Jian Wushuang, but Huiqing and others also obtained corresponding treasures. In Huiqing's sea of knowledge, Zhenling even took out a crystal ball and handed it to Huiqing. Huiqing, I value you the most. You know this. Don't let me down. You are a pitiful disciple. I know. Don't worry. I will take care of it myself. Zhenling said sincerely, but I wish I was in my heart. Shang is finished sooner. After hearing Zhenling's words, Huiqing's eyes flushed red, but she felt a little bit reluctant. Along the way, Zhenling really took care of him a lot. He never dared to forget. Returning from school will surely repay you. On the other side, Zhenling also said similar things to Wuxia. Wuxia, you are the disciple of my deity. Although you are not the strongest, you are the only disciple surviving. Don't lose my face. Don't come back if you don't become a catastrophe. Remember, it's important to save your life. This sentence made Wuxia instantly think of the original master. Although the number of meetings is very small, he remembers the words of the master instructing them every time. Just stay alive. Wuxia's face trembled, and he said with emotion, Master teaches that disciples never look at each other. If the temple of Qixin enters a crisis again, Wuxia is willing to be the first to die in battle. He was supposed to be in the time and space of Molo, but now the lingering life makes him forget how beautiful it was once. High-spirited as a teenager. Why don't you look back suddenly? He will definitely live up to the glory of Qixin Temple in the past, let alone shame Master. Outside, everyone's expression is very heavy. Zhenling glanced at everyone, his face sank and shouted, Go! Huh! The crowd rose into the air, tearing the sky away and leaving the tomb mountain. From the tomb of the gods, all the way without words, went straight to the heaven. Along the way, there is no stay or reluctance. The northern boundary of the heavens above the mountains. Among the 10 temples of the gods, the most outstanding inheritors have arrived. There are already people waiting for them here. The real spirit wants to control the big formation, so there is no way to send them personally. Only the master of the palace Xuani greeted them here. There are more than 1 million messengers around, and there are super messengers with supreme combat power. It is the strong puppet of Xuani Hall. Everyone follow me. The hall master Xuani didn't talk nonsense, and directly led everyone into the depths of the mountain range. Jian Wushuang looked around, and felt a majestic power. Other people also feel it real. Hall master Xuani did not forget to popularize them, and explained, the time and space channel opened this time is the long river of time and space at the core of the starry sky. Relying on divine power as the main force, supplemented by the origin. You may not be used to this just now. Divine power is the main. Jian Wushuang was very surprised. The origin is the right way. How can there be someone who majors in divine power? Hall Master Xuani saw Jian Wushuang's doubts and continued. The starry sky is strange and unpredictable. Everything is possible. If there is a major in the source, then there is a major in divine power. Go in. Palace Master Xuani stopped, pointed to the dark abyss in front, and said to everyone, this place is just the entrance to the turbulent flow of time and space. In the turbulent flow of time and space, there is a formation that can help. You travel through time and space, remember, and collect all foreign objects into the original space. Otherwise, don't blame me for not reminding you if you lose it. The true spirit had already informed them about this, and had already included the treasure into the source space. Now Jian Wushuang has only one set of ordinary clothes on his body. There are no treasures. Everyone stepped into the abyss without hesitation. Jian Wushuang looked back, and at the last glance, he froze in the dense jungle, and then entered the abyss. After everyone entered the abyss, they were a little uncomfortable at first. Because it is a turbulent flow of time and space, it is dangerous to enter the tribulation realm, not to mention them. Fortunately, the real spirit has cleared all the dangers in the turbulent flow of time and space. They just feel a little uncomfortable physically, but fortunately there is no danger. Before it should be the passage of time and space. Wuxia reminded everyone. Jian Wushuang also followed his gaze. There was a circular passage in the distance, and the aura exuding above was not divine power, but the life force that Jian Wushuang was familiar with. This surprised him a little. Time and space channels containing the power of life. Unfortunately, his realm is limited, and he has too little understanding of time and space, and he doesn't understand it. Now everyone has come close. When the time came without thinking about it, they entered directly one after another. Before entering, Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing agreed to enter together one after another. It is best that they can appear together. Time and space channel. I don't know where to send them to that long river of time and space. It is even more troublesome if they cannot be transmitted together. So everyone has long left their own secret codes. After going to another time and space, all the titles used were his own names. If you go in and you can't figure out the direction, you will call your name first, and then find a force on the spot to stabilize it first. When everyone is there, we will explore together. Even if you don't want to explore together, get in touch in advance. You can't fight on your own, and when no one can find it, you will be in trouble. Wushuang, Hui Qing, I will go in first. Tongtian Buddha and Zhen Wuyang entered the space-time channel together. Then came the backbone Luo and Emperor Guangying. Fan Feng didn't say much, and flew in behind the two of them. Brother Dongsheng, you must be careful with Brother Wanyan. Jian Wushuang exclaimed. Watch the two enter. Finally Wu's was started, followed by Hui Qing, Jian Wushuang behind. All have entered the space-time channel one after another. Seeing Du Hui Qing also walked in, Jian Wushuang took the last breath of the long river of time and space, and flew in resolutely. Chapter 56-57. There was only a breath of time when Mingming and Hui Qing and the others entered, but no one could be seen in the passage. Jian Wushuang could not understand the space and time in the space-time channel, and it was not surprising. Flying all the way, it's like entering a black hole. And Jian Wushuang flew, suddenly felt that his realm was falling continuously. This surprised him, and the power of life is declining very quickly. What's going on? Jian Wushuang panicked suddenly. Not only the realm has plummeted, but even the strength is constantly losing. Soon Jian Wushuang fell out of the Emperor realm, become a Taoist. Without the power of the stars, all the power of life is lost. Jian Wushuang's eyes shrank, and his strength fell into this way, before he walked out of the space-time channel. It was a question of whether he could maintain the immortality after he went out. This is not easy. If he lives in the wilderness and has no combat power, how can he live? But now halfway away, it is impossible to turn around and leave. Jian Wushuang could only bite the bullet and continue to move forward. The realm keeps falling, and the original space in the body has turned into a pole completely sealed. Jian Wushuang is not even Yinxian anymore. Become immortal again. As he walked at this moment, there was a light in front of him, followed by the power of death rushing toward his face. Jian Wushuang felt bad, thinking that he was destroying life again. But without waiting for him to react, the whole person has fallen into a deep sleep. In the dream, he entered another world. He wandered about with strength, and saw a magnificent river of time and space. 9 days and 10 places, it's so spectacular. Unfortunately, the next moment, this long river of time and space suddenly shattered. Jian Wushuang was in a daze and saw a goddess. She was wearing a red fairy dress. Her face was beautiful and suffocating. I saw this goddess stepping barefoot into this long river of time and space. 1 step a day, 9 steps are taken, and a 9-color sky is achieved. 1 step in 1 breath. It was the 10th breath at the time of stay, leaving 10 ancient land and secret realm. While staying, Jian Wushuang stared at his eyebrows and saw the other persons look back. At that glance, he didn't dare to breathe. This is a peerless power that creates a long river of time and space. Jian Wushuang was completely frightened. This celestial lady was just an emperor when she first entered this long river of time and space. But with every step taken, a catastrophe is achieved. After 9 steps, he is already a superpower in the 9 tribulations realm. After 10 breaths, it is invincible. How domineering. But in a blink of an eye, The body of the goddess was also shattered. Only 9 days and 10 places are left. After Jian Wushuang finished reading it, he was also led by an invisible force and entered the Gumo continent among the 10 places. The ancient woodland is full of vegetation. When Jian Wushuang's consciousness entered Gumo continent, he heard a voice vaguely. "My dojo, you dare to enter?" Jian Wushuang was frightened and clever, and when he looked back, he saw a familiar figure that blocked the person who spoke for him. Hui Qing. Jian Wushuang couldn't help but shout out. But Hui Qing didn't pay attention to him, but confronted the goddess. What Jian Wushuang didn't expect was that Hui Qing really stopped him. "What's the situation?" The other party is a celestial lady who has completed the 9 tribulations in 9 steps, able to create the power of the long river of time and space. Hui Qing actually stopped the opponent. The key is how Hui Qing will appear. He didn't see the consciousness of other people, only Hui Qing. At this time, the others also saw the scene that Jian Wushuang saw just now, and when they were blocked by the goddess, they were all blocked by Hui Qing. For a while, everyone was extremely curious about Hui Qing's identity. But then that attraction sucked everyone into 9 days or 10 places. Jian Wushuang's consciousness had descended on Gumo continent. Yu Kingdom, Qingyanzong. Wu family. Ticking. The sound of water droplets in his ears awakened Jian Wushuang, and he was very uncomfortable to wake up. When he just wanted to look up, he felt the severe pain in his chest, and the fatigue that came in an instant, making him unable to open his eyes. He is injured. After Jian Wushuang understood, he wanted to mobilize the power of life to recover, but found that he was now not even talking about the power of life. Even the origin of the special element was gone. "Master, you are awake," a sweet voice came, causing Jian Wushuang to shiver. This voice, the eyebrows were almost to the bones, making people tremble all over when they heard it. The key is this young master, is he calling it? Why did he become a master? Obviously coming from other time and space, there should be no acquaintances here. Just when Jian Wushuang was puzzled, a strange memory suddenly struck in his mind. Wu family's child Wu Shuang. Great Vietnam. 7-star sect, Qingyan sect. A series of unfamiliar messages were accepted by Jian Wushuang. He also recognized the owner of the voice at this time. Su Meyer. Jian Wushuang uttered a voice of disgust in his throat. That is his personal servant girl. But according to what I knew from that memory, this maid was not a good person. He also knew how the injuries came from. With strong willpower, made Jian Wushuang stand up from the bed, and pulled the maid Su Meyer into his arms, and then restrained her neck like suet jade with one hand fiercely. Said, "Who sent you here?" Su Meyer was strangled and couldn't pass through. Her face was full of horror. The bottom of my heart was even more surprised. Why this trash master dared to attack him. He is a doji cultivator, and he still can't break free. Guyu time and space. The realm of cultivation is very different from the time and space where Jian Wushuang is. It is divided into acquired congenital daoji, Vientian, Yuanshan, Mahayana, immortal, emperor and tribulation realm. This long river of time and space, with a long time, is stronger than Mora time and space, and the practice of practice is more perfect. There are few realms divided, and immortality alone encompasses the realms of Yanxian, Dianxian and Daojun. The maid whose neck was strangled by him was a Daoji monk, and his body was just an ordinary congenital monk. The age is even less than 18, only 17, but now the strength that is not weak to Daoji has burst out. How can this not surprise the maid Su Meyer? "Master Wushuang, I am Meyer." Su Meyer still wanted to quibble, but Jian Wushuang was very decisive, holding Su Meyer's face with one hand and said coldly, "If you don't tell the truth again, I will tear your face." Su Meyer's face changed from unbelievable to fear. She could feel that this young master seemed to have changed, and was different from before. If she kept concealing it, she might really tear her face. I said, "Young Master Meyer will tell you everything." Jian Wushuang pushed her away and walked off the bed, but the tear in his chest made him almost faint. It touched his chest, it was all blood. Chapter 56-58. When I look around, my eyes are all flowers. But also vaguely saw this dilapidated room. The Wu family, the Yu country can be ranked in the top 10 big family. It is famous for its swords, and even has a Wu family sword tomb with the strongest sword of the Yu country above it. Jian Wushuang was born into such a family, but luck was actually good. Unexpectedly, he was framed just after being reborn. In his mind, he learned the memory of this body. As a child of the Wu family, he naturally uses swords, but his natural cartilage is unable to cultivate magical power at all. Although the pill was piled up to become an innate monk, his supernatural power is not as good as the acquired monk. Slowly the family gave up on him. If this is the case, it is actually good. But what he didn't expect was that the stepmother of this body was scorpion-hearted. It was good to him at first, maybe because he was just a trash. But in an accident, the stepmother Chen Qingxian discovered a prototype of a sword bone in his body. Sword bone. That is a born sword embryo. With sword bones, it can be said that those who are nailed to the plate will become immortal. Moreover, he will master the ultimate kendo and become the most defying swordsman. It was precisely because of this sword ancient fact that Wu Shuangcai couldn't practice supernatural power, because most of the repaired divine power has entered the sword bone and has been nurturing the sword bone. The glory of Wu Jezu gave birth to a man with a sword and bones. Wu Shuang is second. People with sword bones, the supernatural power cultivated in their childhood, will enter the sword bones. This is why Wu Shuang was scolded as waste. Sword bones need a lot of treasures to condense and form. After Chen Qingxian learned about it, he went all out to cultivate Wu Shuang. Although the Wu family was a little puzzled, they all admired Chen Qingchuan's character. She was Wu Shuang's stepmother. There is no need to take care of Wu Shuang in this way. Besides, she also has children. He is a half-brother of Jian Wushuang. But outsiders don't know that Chen Qingchuan's all this is actually for his son. She wanted the sword bone in Wu Shuang's body to be transplanted to her son Wu Di. Wu Di is only 1 year younger than Jian Wushuang. Just turned 16 this year. When he was a child, Wu Shuang's father, Wu Yong, was very fond of Wu Shuang. After all, he grew up in an orderly manner, but later discovered that Wu Shuang's physique was not suitable for cultivation at all. So he gave up and became more and more indifferent. On the contrary, Wu Di showed extraordinary potential, which made Wu Yong raise his head in the family. Wu Yong's strength is only the realm of Mahayana, and he has not even reached the immortal. Although he is a direct descendant, he doesn't have much power. It was this son that allowed him to step into the middle of the family and become the elder of the family. Wu Di, who was only 16 years old, was already a monk in Vientiane. It's really amazing. Jian Wushuang was also very impressed. He was still an ignorant boy at 16. But these vicious guys actually dug Wu Shuang's sword bones and gave it to Wu Di. This makes him very upset. Although only borrowing this body, but since he was reborn in this body, he must seek justice for Wu Shuang. Wu Shuang and Wu Shuang. It's really fate. Jian Wushuang picked up the kettle on the table and took a sip in his mouth. Looking at Su Meyer, who was crawling on the ground, she said coldly, "Get out of here." Su Meyer knelt on the ground, and Chu Chu stared at Jian Wushuang pitifully and said tremblingly, "Thank you, young master, for not killing me. Chen Qingxian instructed me to do everything. Don't worry, I never kill women." Jian Wushuang waved his hand. Su Meyer was obedient, and under his threat, she said everything. His memory of 3 days ago is very vague, and he doesn't know much, consistent with the absorbed memory. After understanding the current form, it also stabilized. There is no worry about life and death for the time being. After Su Meyer heard his words, she leaked a flattering smile, got up in a hurry, and was about to leave. Jian Wushuang stared at her back and shook his head. Whoosh! One of the chopsticks on the table was ejected by his finger and directly penetrated Su Meyer's chest. Wu Shuang doesn't kill women. Jian Wushuang doesn't have this burden in my heart. Now he is Jian Wushuang, an invincible emperor who has lived for several epochs and has not yet recovered his strength. How can you be soft-hearted? After solving Su Meyer, Jian Wushuang dragged her corpse into the bed, then sat cross-legged on the bed and began to regain his strength. Now his realm has fallen too much. Can only barely maintain the strength of Vientiane. This strength is not enough to seek justice for Wu Shuang. Then think again. He can be said to be unaccompanied here. His mother, Wei Qi Mingyue, died early. His father Wu Yong looked down on him. He hadn't seen each other for several years, and he was neither lukewarm nor lukewarm when he saw him. When he was outside, it was even more as if he hadn't seen him. In a world where Wu is respected, especially in a big family like the Wu family, a trash son almost nailed Wu Yong to a pillar of shame. If it weren't for Wu Di's reasons, I'm afraid Wu Yong would not be able to raise his head for the rest of his life. It is for this reason that he is reluctant to face Wu Shuang. Jian Wushuang shook his head and sighed. Poor child. Pity. Pitiful. The seedling of the ultimate way was taken away by the vicious stepmother. If he had guessed correctly, it is probably because of Wu Shuang's death that he would enter this body. Reincarnation of the world. Wu Shuang is dead, but his name is still alive. But to add a lost sword in front of Wu Shuang. Jian Wushuang. Phew. After repairing it for a while, although Jian Wushuang's realm dropped a lot, according to the experience of his previous life, he quickly used some of the repaired magical power to stop the blood from the chest injury. Now Wu Shuang, who does not have a sword bone, can cultivate a very strong divine power. It can be regarded as lifted the shackles. A mortal body lives the life of a mortal. Soon 3 days passed. Wu's house on. In the courtyard where the female relatives are resting, in a gorgeous manner, Chen Qingxian with a beautiful face is guiding his son's cultivation. My son, how is the recovery of the body? Chen Qingxian looked at her proud son dozingly. Wu Shuang was not the only one injured in the transplantation of sword bones. At this time, Wu Di was also very weak. However, with the blessing of countless treasures, he soon adapted to the backlash brought by the sword bone. And this sword bone had already achieved consummation in his body. He had a sword eye, but now he has a sword bone. The enemy of Wu in the future, I am afraid, will really become invincible. But he didn't feel too happy. When he looked at his mother, there was confusion and a trace of unwillingness in his sword eyes. He already had sword eyes, and the road to invincibility had been opened. Why go to ask for a sword bone from a weak person? The current Wu Di is still too young to understand or reconciled, is unwilling to self-esteem. As for Wu Shuang, he didn't take it seriously. Although Chen Qingxian is Wu Di's mother, he still doesn't know what his son thinks in his heart. Chapter 56-59. Mother, I'm fine, Wu Di said indifferently, and only replied softly. Chen Qingxian was very excited, and then said, It's fine if it doesn't matter. You just need to heal your wounds here. There is me outside. The outside world? Wu Di was a little puzzled. What happened to the outside world that his mother said? He didn't have a good impression of Wu Shuang, and he never regarded him as an opponent. Naturally unclear. But Chen Qingxian knew. Even Wu Shuang doesn't know that he still has an uncle. An immortal uncle. Moreover, he has arrived at Wu's house. It's Yuqi Mingfeng. Chen Qingxian slowly got up, leaning against Wu Di. Wu Di's expression moved, and he was surprised. Is that Mingjiao Tianjiao? Xiaoming Wang Wei Qi Mingfeng? Yu Kingdom has 2 supersections. One is the Orthodox 7-star sect of Gumu Continent, and the other is Mingjiao. The 7-star sect, the Azure Cloud sect, has the same lifespan as the heavens and the earth, and is said to be related to the goddess who opened up the ancient moon time and space, and has been passed down to this day. It is the first sect of Vietnam. Even the royal family respected King Yanzong. But Mingjiao is different. It is a rising star, although not as long as King Yanzong's history, but the overall strength is not weak. King Yanzong, Xiaoming Wang Wei Qi Ming Feng, is one of the few talents of Mingjiao today. This is a big man. Even the Wu family must take it seriously. Although Wu Di was young, he yearned for the arrogant, and he also had confidence in his heart. Unexpectedly, this kind of character is actually related to that Wei's brother, Wu Shuang. Don't be careful. I have sent your uncle back. Yuqi Mingfeng is just an immortal after all. Your uncle is an emperor. Chen Qingxian was very confident. What about Mingjiao Tianjiao? This is Wu's house. The family of the Yu Kingdom. The super family under the Qinjianmen of the 7 Stars Omen. In terms of background and strength, they are much higher than Xiaoming Wang. After seeing his son, Chen Qingxian hurriedly left. Wuxia guest house. The eldest son of the 3-bedroom of the contemporary Wu family is the uncle of Wu Di, as well as the uncle of Wu Shuang. Wu Qiong is confronting a handsome young man with abundance. Wu Qiong, my nephew is just a concubine from your 3rd room, why stop me? Since you don't take him seriously, why don't you let me take the lead? Yu Qi Mingfeng's tone was cold. He owes a lot to this nephew. When his elder sister fell, he was in retreat. Now the elder sister who has passed away has fallen, and the nephew, who had never met, has also become the laughingstock of the Wu family. He will naturally pick it up. This is his last relative. Even if it is a trash, he has to shelter his whole life. Unexpectedly, Wu Jiran refused to let him take it away on the grounds of his family's children. This made him never expect. With the Wu family's temperament, it is a slaughter, but it is also a waste of cultivation that can't produce supernatural power. Hopefully, let Wu Shuang go with his uncle. This will also be able to win over a future arrogant. Wu Qiong always smiled, neither sinning nor fulfilling this Xiaoming Wang. Brother Mifeng, don't worry about my children from the Wu family. Wu Shuang is also doing well in the Wu family. Why are you doing this? It's a beautiful thing to let him spend his life free. Yu Qi Mingfeng had doubts in his heart, and paused for a while and said disdainfully, Haha, a lifetime of leisure? If this is the case, he would feel relieved. But a few days ago, there was a burst of heartache, which was a backlash brought about by cause and effect. He felt that something had happened to the nephew, and coupled with the fall of his sister, he hurried out of the customs. Before coming to Wu's house, he inquired about his nephew's experience, and he had already made up his mind to take Wu Shuang away. Isn't that good? A voice interrupted the confrontation between the two. It was Chen Qingxian who entered the hall. Yu Qi Mingfeng didn't turn his head, but a terrifying sense of oppression broke out. Seeing this, Wu Qiong also changed his eyes. Chen Qingxian was neither humble nor overbearing, walked up to Wu Qiong, gave a polite, then looked at Yu Qi Mingfeng and slowly said, Wu Shuang is not a concubine, but he is also my son in terms of status, so Mingfeng brothers are not worried. Wu Shuang after all is Wu. These words are also persuading Wei Qi Mingfeng to retreat, but the other party would give up like this. Wu Qiong also nodded with a smile, and remained silent. The confrontation in the hall continued. After 3 days of correction, Jian Wushuang finally recovered his injuries. Ha! Jian Wushuang let out a foul breath. Except for his soul, he is just a mortal now. The source hasn't been activated yet, and he can't restore the peak at all. Need to find a helper. Jian Wushuang frowned. If he continued to cultivate like this, he would probably have to live again. But looking for a situation now, how can he have time to live a lifetime again? Slowly cultivate the talent of this body. I am afraid that it will take at least 10,000 years to reach the immortal. That is, to open the origin of the eternal immortal. Even if he has previous life experience, it will take hundreds of years. And also need a lot of foreign objects. He can't wait. Coming to this time and space is to achieve the tribulation realm. In fact, hundreds or even 10,000 years are not too long. It's just the current situation that makes him afraid to wait. What if the stepmother killed him? If you are undecided, you still have to slip away first. If there is an emperor who is willing to help him, only needs a trace of the source of power to induce the source space in his body, and he can instantly draw out the power of life. With the power of life, he can quickly recover to the peak. It's just that he is unaccompanied now. Where can he go to find the emperor to help him? When Jian Wushuang was embarrassed, he felt a sudden karma coming from the bottom of his heart. It's not far away, and the opponent's strength is very strong. Jian Wushuang raised his brows. There are too many people in Wu's family who have blood connections with him. But the feeling he gave him was very indifferent. But the breath that had just arrived was extremely gentle. He is a close relative, and his attitude towards him is different from that of the Wu family. This surprised Jian Wushuang very much. Now he lacks such a relative. As long as he recovers to the peak, the grievances of this body can also be quickly resolved, and then it is time to look for other people. I don't know where Huiqing and the others have gone, according to the memory of this body, and all the things he had seen before. This long river of time and space is very powerful. It was indeed the same as the Hall Master Xuanyi said. It was even stronger than the original Morwa time and space. It is one of the 9 most dazzling time and space in the starry sky. Its internal structure is also different from other time and space. The main structure is 9 heavens and 10 earth. As for the universe, it is like a star, floating above the long river of time and space. Gumo continent is one of the 10 places. He entered the Gumo continent. Where did Huiqing and Wuzhua go? At this time, other people also have the same idea. It's just that what happened to other people is better than Jian Wushuang. But it's not much better. They are all working hard to restore the peak. Chapter 5660. But what happened to Huiqing was different from them. But I don't know whether it is good or bad, and everything is still unclear. The universe is undecided. The 10 people in Qishan Temple all have different situations. But their goals are the same. Be bigger and stronger, and create greater glories. Jian Wushuang didn't think about it either, but got up and left the room. As for the corpse of that maid, nothing was left of it long ago. Walking out of the room, and pushing open the door of the small courtyard, there were 2 men standing outside in strong costumes. The strength is like the early days of Vientiane. When Jian Wushuang came out, his eyes condensed. The 2 of them were arranged here by Chen Qingxian. Originally, he wasn't going to stare at Jian Wushuang. But that way Qi Mingfeng suddenly came up. She was also afraid that Jian Wushuang would go out, so she was going to be under house arrest for a period of time. At the same time, people sent treasures, and they were going to repair Jian Wushuang's injuries first. Even if she didn't agree to let Qi Mingfeng take Jian Wushuang away, if the other party wanted to see Jian Wushuang, she wouldn't be able to stop him. At that time, Jian Wushuang's body was found to be injured, and that would be bad. However, what didn't make Chen Qingxian think that the treasure she had bestowed had been swallowed by these 2 Vientiane monks? They all think that Wushuang is just a waste. Even if it is given to the treasure, it is not easy to use. It's better to make them both cheaper. In the past they did the same. Master Wushuang, you are not taking good care of your injuries here. Where are you going? A triangulated Vientiane monk stepped forward and blocked Jian Wushuang's path. Although the 2 of them didn't know why this Wushuang young master wanted to heal here, but since Chen Qingxian had explained, he would not let Wushuang leave here for half a step. Jian Wushuang didn't even glance at the 2 of them, and said coldly, "What is this young master going to do? Do you still need to ask you for instructions?" The 2 servants of the Wu family dared to offend him so much. It seems that this body has passed very badly, despite Chen Qingchuan's hypocritical care. I am afraid that no one is looking at him. Seeing the originally cowardly character and unable to repair the young master waste, suddenly became hardened, making people startled. There was no reaction for a while. But when Jian Wushuang continued to walk outside, the 2 blocked Jian Wushuang's path at the same time. Thanks, where the young master is going. Naturally the subordinates dare not ask more, but someone said above, "Please forgive me for asking me to take care of the young master here." In front of Wushuang, a broad chest leaked out. Jian Wushuang sneered. It was really unexpected that one day, he would be threatened by 2 mortals. "You are looking for death." Jian Wushuang's eyes leaked murderous, and he lifted his leg and kicked directly into the chest of the man with triangle eyes. The power of this foot was very strong, and the other party didn't take it seriously, thinking that Wushuang in front of him was still the old trash master, and he didn't pay attention to it at all. But what he didn't expect was that he kicked him several battles far away, with just 1 kick. And the body was seriously injured. Divine power-based practice system. The physical body is the first level. The mundane is the main body of cultivation. Divine power is like the source. Just like these 2 Vientiane monks in front of me. Although he was a mortal, he possessed a 10-fold divine body, an already tyrannical body. However, before Jianwu Duan, it was still not enough. Although his body is weak now, he has the experience of his previous life, coupled with his strong soul. And now he has the highest combat power in Vientiane. Although his body is weak, his divine power is extremely strong. He was quite surprised that he didn't kick the opponent to death just now. The practice system of this time and space is very interesting. Another Vientiane monk stared at Jian Wushuang in surprise. Unexpectedly, Jian Wushuang would suddenly do it. This surprised the two of them. The triangular-eyed young man who was kicked so far was full of anger and stood up directly regardless of his injuries. He shouted at Jian Wushuang angrily, "You stinky kid, don't know how to promote it, or you will regret it today." Being beaten by a trash, even if the other party is Wu family children, they are just slaves, but they also have unwillingness and anger in their hearts. Regret. Jian Wushuang clenched his fist slightly. There are many things that make him regret, but each piece is not something that these chores can do. The next moment his figure flashed, and he instantly reached the opponent's eyes, and a hand knife directly cut off the opponent's head. Hot blood spewing instantaneously. The triangular-eyed man was completely shocked when his companion was killed instantly. He never expected that the cowardly young master was a waste. He killed a Vientiane monk in an instant. How dare you kill someone? The triangular-eyed man kept backing away, pointing to Jian Wushuang's trembling words, and could not say complete. But in private, he has already transmitted the voice calling for help. Chen Qingxian gave the order to die, not to let Jian Wushuang go out for half a step. At the same time, a group of patrolling monks had already approached here. It's just that Chen Qingxian in the guest hall. His eyes flashed, and a faint uneasiness appeared in his heart. This anxiety seemed to not be the Yuqi Mingfeng in front of him, but Wu Shuang. That Wu Shuang who has completely become a waste. The previous care was only for the sword bones. Today's Wu Shuang has been completely reduced to waste. The reason why Wei Qi Mingfeng was prevented from taking it away was because he was afraid that things would be revealed. It only takes a few months to erase everything. Then, the sword bone really belonged to her son Wu Di, and Wu Shuang was completely reduced to waste. No need to bother about it anymore. But now Yuqi Mingfeng appeared, but she had a murderous intent in her heart. Although the sword bone can be stolen, the trace cannot be erased. In case it was discovered, that would be bad. She was not worried that someone would make a name for Wu Shuang, but that she would be infamous for her son. Wu Di is everything to her. Is her proudest son. Don't humiliate her son's reputation because of a trash. Hold him. I have arranged for someone to go. Chen Qingchuan's surface was dull, but privately, he had arranged personnel to stop Wu Shuang. At the same time, she was also very surprised why Jian Wushuang would recover so quickly and still be able to kill a Vientiane monk. Although the strength of the two Vientiane monks she sent in the past was very weak, but Wu Shuang is nothing but a congenital. Even if the treasure she gave could make him break through and become a daoji, it would not be so powerful. Naturally, she did not expect that Wu Shuang died 3 days ago. Wu Shuang now is no longer the Wu Shuang he used to be. Although he took away Wu Shuang's sword bones, he also added a sword character to Wu Shuang's name. Let's talk about Jian Wushuang's side. Killing a mundane casually, this was normal for him. It was the triangular-eyed man who yelled and made him very upset. He can now clearly feel that friendly cause and effect, right in the central hall of the Wu family. No time, entangled with these little guys. Chapter 56-61. Even when he tried to solve another Vientiane monk, he was lazy and left. At this moment, there was a white runner who flew in from the sky with dozens of people. Come, Jian Wushuang is familiar with it. Follow the description in memory. The white-robe youth in front of him has an unusual relationship with him. Like him, they are all children of the Wu family. It's just that this young man in white robe is a direct descendant of Samfang. It was Wu Qiong's second son Wu Liang. Calculated by age, Jian Wushuang had to call the other cousin. But this cousin didn't make him much embarrassed. He was even humiliated at the beginning. Seeing Jian Wushuang approaching, Wu Liang raised his head, not looking at his cousin with his straight eyes. A waste. No matter where there is no trace of respect. Even blood relatives. Even Jian Wushuang himself felt that the other party was fine. Regarding the treatment of waste, it is generally ignored. But even a waste has to make things difficult. So what is the difference between this person and waste? The key is that the original Wu Shuang is not a waste at all, but the ultimate kendo powerhouse in the future. Killing a servant privately, this is a felony, take him down for me. Wu Liang commanded his men indifferently. In his eyes, this cousin is not as good as a family servant. Of course, there are also instructions from his father. Although he didn't know why Wu Shuang was detained, he was lazy to ask. There are dozens of Vientiane monks, and the leader is still a monk of the Yuanshan stage. Jian Wushuang's current strength is not an opponent at all. What's more, that Wu Liang was born 10,000 years, and he was in the Mahayana period. In this case we will lose. Jian Wushuang, who didn't have any whole cards, only had the power of the soul. Just as these people gathered around, a powerful thought force suddenly rose. It directly freezes everyone in place. Wu Liang looked surprised, staring at Jian Wushuang, and said in astonishment, "How is it possible? How can you, a trash, have such strength?" Strength. Jian Wushuang was like looking at an ant. Although the Wu family is good in Vietnam, it ranks among the top 10 families. But in his eyes it was too weak. Even when he was a Taoist monarch, he could single-handedly challenge the entire Wu family. The release of the power of the soul instantly attracted the attention of the strong inside the Wu family. In a quiet place, an old man suddenly opened his eyes. His eyes were shocked. What a strong soul power! At the same time, in the family powerhouse, some family powerhouses who have retired have also left the customs one after another. A mysterious soul power suddenly appeared in the family. This is a big deal. Wu Qiong, the eldest son of the 3 rooms who was originally in the guest hall, also felt it, and his complexion suddenly changed. Compared with Chen Qingchuan's matter, this matter is more important. Wei Qi Mingfeng, Wu Shuang's matter. I think it's going to be slowed down. Wu Qiong's expression changed, leaving only a law body. The deity rushed in the direction of Jian Wushuang. Chen Qingxian is just an immortal, unable to feel the power of the soul at all. Naturally, I don't know anything. Instead, he stared at the handsome young man with a smile, but had other thoughts in his heart. Although Yuqi Mifeng is also an immortal, his strength has reached the limit of Dao Sovereign, but he is a Mingjiao Tianjiao, and the emperor is not weak in strength, so he naturally felt the power of the soul. Although the power of the soul is unfamiliar, there is a causal connection. Related to his sister. Is it the nephew who has never met? This surprised him too. I see, there is no need to wait any longer. Yu Qi Mingfeng shot directly. He had already seen that Wu Qiong only left the Dharmakaya. Can't stop him at all. Wu Qiong's complexion changed drastically and said angrily, "Bold." But Yu Qi Mingfeng sneered. "Why don't you dare? He is the arrogant of Mingjiao. Although the Wu family is backed by the 7-star sect Qingyanzong, it is nothing more than a dog. What about the people of the Azure Cloud sect? He is not afraid. And he is not a fool. These people embarrass him so much for their nephew. I'm afraid there is something I don't want him to know. He will naturally not let go." Jian Wushuang's soul power was released. Even he himself didn't know that it would cause such a big shock. For a time, I felt several powerful auras rising into the sky. Broken, Jian Wushuang secretly said badly. It suddenly occurred to him that this place is a time and space dominated by divine power. The power of the soul is different from here. Although his soul realm is only at the emperor level, his soul realm has long surpassed the emperor's realm, and is stronger than the robbery because of the essence of the source, has reached the level of the Lord of the universe. This has attracted the attention of countless people. But now there is no other way. I can only hope that the strong man who is related to his cause and effect will come quickly. He only needs a trace of the source of the opponent's body to be able to restore the peak. Although the strong in this time and space is the source of divine power, it is also the source. It can also restore him to his peak. Without the strength of him, he has no confidence in anything. Soon several emperors arrived. Wu Liang, what happened here? It was the elder in the family who spoke first. The white-browed old man stared at Jian Wushuang. He could feel the mysterious soul power. Calm comes from the young man in front of him. Seeing the arrival of so many powerful men, Wu Yang was also shocked. But he quickly reacted and quickly told Jian Wushuang about Jian Wushuang. The white-browed elder leaked a strange expression. He didn't know about Jian Wushuang, a collateral child in the family, although they are also the disciples of their 3 rooms. Wu's 9 rooms have tens of thousands of children in each room, and they know everyone everywhere. What's more, he is a young boy who was only a few decades old. For the strong above the immortal, a retreat is 10,000 years, or even millions of years. It is normal if it is not clear. After knowing that it was from their own family, these people were relieved. It's just my family. If you are a strong outsider, you have to be careful. Elder Baimei breathed a sigh of relief, smiled and looked at Jian Wushuang and said, Your Excellency, but the reincarnated body? Just a few decades after his birth, he has such a powerful soul power. It can only make him think of reincarnation. But the guess was good. Jian Wushuang was indeed a reincarnation. Jian Wushuang didn't hide it either. Because it didn't make sense, he nodded slightly. So much the better. Everything is clear. If the opponent cooperates, he can recover to the peak faster. It's just that he is a little worried. What if these people take action against him? I don't know the identity of your friend. Elder Baimei asked carefully. Jian Wushuang opened his mouth and replied, I am not from the ancient Wood continent. This is not to lie to the other party. He is indeed not a strong man on the ancient Wood continent, and does not even belong to this time and space. Oh, that's it. There was a strange color in the eyes of the old man with white eyebrows. At the same time, it was also transmitted to the real strong in the family. Chapter 56-62. A strong man after reincarnation. Come to their Wu family. I don't know if it is good or bad. Needless to say the benefits. Having the blood of their Wu family is equivalent to having deep cause and effect. In the future, I will return to the top, and I will not forget the Wu family. It's a beautiful thing. There are disadvantages. I just don't know what he was like before reincarnation. What if he is a strong magician and harms the Wu family? And they don't have any details, and they don't know the strengths or weaknesses. This matter is not something he can decide, as an elder of the 3 chambers. Need to ask the real strong in the family. Wu Qiong, who had rushed over, her expression changed drastically when she heard this. He knows what Chen Qingxian did. I'm afraid I can't hide it now. Moreover, Yuqi Mingfeng, his law body couldn't stop him. He had already rushed towards this side. Wu Qiong, take this seriously? After hearing Wu Qiong's voice transmission, the elder Baimei frowned. The sword bone matter has been revealed. Elder Baimei exclaimed first, then regretted. I heard that it was transplanted to Wu Di, and I was relieved. At least from the family, there is no cheap to outsiders. But in this way, you are offending the reincarnated person in front of you. But compared with the sword bone, it is not a loss. There was just one thing that puzzled Elder Baimei. Why was it transplanted to Wu Di instead of Wu Qiong's eldest son, or second son Wu Liang? I'm afraid there are hidden secrets in this. But this is not important. What should be done to Wu Shuang right now? Such a big thing happened. Wu Yong, who was Wu Shuang's biological father, had already been brought over in the city below the mountain. My son, it turned out to be a reincarnated person. Wu Yong was first exclaimed, and then he was overjoyed. Although his strength is average, he also knows about reincarnation. Those who can be reincarnated are all Emperor's great abilities. Maybe they are the absolute powerhouses. In this way, he has another backer. And he is his own son, an emperor and a strong man. The other son, Wu Di, although he has a strong aptitude, he still hasn't grown up yet. Wu Shuangke, who was reincarnated, was different, and could quickly return to his peak. But then it will be a big backer. The eldest son is the reincarnated body, the emperor is powerful. The second son had sword eyes and sword bones that he didn't know, and he was even more gifted by the emperor. Wu Yong's previous life, He Di Neng, will have such 2 proud sons in this life. Wu Qiong glanced at this unsuspecting younger brother. her expression a little embarrassed. The bottom of my heart is a sneer. The reincarnated body, even Wu Yong's son, probably won't give him too much good face because of previous events. As for the second son Wu Di, it is even more intriguing. And because of the sword bone matter, I am afraid that I have already harbored a grudge, so it would be nice not to seek revenge from them. Elder Bai Mei knew this too. There must be a decision now. Wu Shuang is a strong reincarnation, and regardless of the future, he will grow into a super strong in the near future. Even the most powerful. And Wu Di, with absolute aptitude, will become an emperor in the future, and even an absolute top. Both of these are the hope of the family. It's better not to give up if you can. If you really want to give up, also give up Wu Shuang. After all, it is a reincarnation body. Wu Di, but the real Wu family, the direct line of the family, the real powerhouse of the clan quickly arrived here. He was dressed in a simple black robe, and his expression was cold, and the breath on his body also carried an absolute sense of oppression. In the Wu family, if the emperor is considered a high-level person, Zhu Dian is the leader of the house. But within the clan, Jiejing is the backbone of the family. It is also their capital for standing in Vietnam. And this black robe powerhouse is a robbery realm. He was a powerful saboteur, who could not survive the third calamity. Even so, the strength of this person is second only to the ancient temple that Jian Wushuang killed. The divine body is definitely more than 100,000. He is the superpower of the real body stream. His arrival instantly suppressed Jian Wushuang's powerful soul power. Jian Wu is a bit embarrassed, and the oppressive feeling on the opponent is very strong. I'm afraid it's against him. I don't know your name? The black-robe old man asked. Jian Wushuang answered indifferently. Jian Wushuang. At this time, Yuchi Mifeng also rushed over. Seeing that so many powerful people gathered here, I also felt something was wrong. But Jian Wushuang was overjoyed at this moment. The strong man who had a cause and effect with him seemed to be the one in front of him. At the moment, he directly transmitted the voice to the other party, showing his identity, and said what happened. He is right to pretend to be reincarnated, but after all, he is the other party's nephew. It's just pretending to have awakened the memories of previous lives. The other party will still read this friendship. After Yuchi Mingfeng heard Jian Wushuang's voice transmission, he was amazed in his heart. Unexpectedly, his nephew was actually a reincarnated body. There is also some loss. The only relative is actually a reincarnated strong man. Although the bloodline is correct, there are always some differences. But since he needs his help, he will not shirk. Right now, the Wu family probably won't let Jian Wushuang leave, and even kill them. For those who are irrelevant, you can retreat. The strong black robe waved his hand. The next thing, it will be detrimental to the family. Naturally, I don't want those little guys to know. You reading www.akanshu.com. Only Wu Qiong who knew about this, and Wu Yong, and the elder Bai Mei stayed. The black-robed old man looked at Yuchi Mingfeng again, and said, People of Mingjiao, this matter has nothing to do with you. You can also leave. Without any room for discussion, he tore the space with a wave of his hand, and wanted to send Yuchi Mingfeng out. Jian Wushuang stood up right now and stopped the opponent directly. Senior, according to the seniority in this life, I should call you ancestors. If you have anything, you might as well just say, why bother and move the crowd like this? Jian Wushuang raised his head, and looked at the black-robed old man. He is indeed flowing with the blood of the Wu family, although only reincarnated for 3 days. But he has the body of Wu Shuang. It's just that the soul is different. Seeing this, the black-robed old man turned his eyes. However, Yuchi Mingfeng condensed a group of divine power origin, walked to Jian Wushuang, patted Jian Wushuang's shoulder, and transferred the divine power origin into Jian Wushuang's body. Wu Shuang is right. If the Wu family feels unbearable, I will take him away, Yuchi Mingfeng said firmly. He has already transmitted his voice to the strong men of Mingjiao nearby. Right now, I'm afraid it's not that simple. The opponent is a strong robbery realm. He is nothing but immortality. Even if it is Tianjiao, it is not enough to be able to match the emperor. Seeing this, The black-robed old man pressed the killing intent in his heart and said calmly, "In that case, go to the clan hall. He is a strong robbery realm, an immortal. Even if he stays behind, it doesn't matter. Kill them together if it's a big deal. What about the Tianjiao of Mingjiao? After all, is just an immortal. Clan hall. The core of the Wu family. The black-robed old man, Wu Changqing, is the great elder of the Wu family clan. He is the number 2 person in the Wu family." Chapter 56-63. Strength is ranked in the top 3. The first strength is naturally the ancestor who founded the Wu family. The ancestor of the Wu family, who has been retreating in Jianzhong for many years. It's just such a trivial matter. That ancestor will not show up. Only when a new tribulation realm powerhouse appears in the family, the ancestor will show up once. As for the patriarch of the family, he is not in the Wu family now. So this time, Wu Changqing will be allowed to come forward. Jian Wushuang was curious in his heart. How many tribulation realms exist in this Wu family? Originally thought that this Wu family had at most one superb. Unexpectedly, there will be a strong robbery realm, and it seems that there will be more than one. The 10 major families in the Yu country, I am afraid that all have a catastrophe. According to the most profound names in memory, the 7-star sect Qingyan sect, and the Yu kingdom. This time and space was far more powerful than he had imagined. In the clan hall, Chen Qingxian and Wu Di were both brought. Kneeling in the hall at this time, Jian Wushuang looked like a guest, sitting on the left-hand side of Wu Changqing, the elder of the Wu family, and the 3-room elder Bai Mei sat on the right. As for Wu Qiong and Wu Yong, they didn't even have the qualifications to sit, so they just stood there. Wu Yong didn't understand the situation. At this moment he was shocked. Even if he was relatively incompetent, he could see that today's things were not simple. Chen Qingxian, you know you are guilty. Elder Bai Mei fell down and said. Chen Qingxian, who was kneeling on the ground, knew that he couldn't hide it today, so he simply said it all. Elder, everything is done by my concubine, it has nothing to do with my son. Chen Qingxian buried his head between his knees. Wu Di turned his head to look at his mother, his eyes complicated. Chen Qingxian didn't know that Wu Shuang was a reincarnated body, but now seeing Jian Wushuang sitting next to the clan elder, he also knew that things might not be easy. Today she is probably in a disaster. At this time, Wu Changqing slowly picked up the teacup, took a sip of tea, and said calmly, "In this case, Wu Qiong will take her down and her to the law enforcement hall. A family as big as the Wu family is no less than a kingdom of God, and the family rules are naturally complete. Do whatever you want." Fair enough. Chen Qingxian was frightened when he heard that he was about to be sent to the law enforcement hall. When she entered the law enforcement hall, she was really over. But for his son, she has no choice. When Wu Yong heard this, he shouted angrily from the side. "You poisonous woman, you actually harm my son like this." I dug the sword bone from Wu Shuang's body and transplanted it to Wu Di. This matter is too vicious. Chen Qingxian glanced at her son one last time, and when she stared at Wu Di, she shook her head. He stood up and bowed back to the elders. When he looked at Jian Wushuang, his eyes still showed disdain and arrogance. Jian Wushuang held the handle of the chair, but an extreme point appeared in his body. This pole is constantly expanding. That is a starry sky, his origin and his release. In the original space, there are many of his treasures, as well as a complete physical body. Now he can regain his peak at any time. The confidence in my heart also came up. And many more. He stopped Chen Qingxian, who was about to leave. Seeing Jian Wushuang's exit blocked, Wu Changqing frowned, looked at Jian Wushuang and said, "Jian Wushuang, this matter is the Wu family's business. Her surname is Chun." Jian Wushuang slowly stood up and answered indifferently. In the next moment, his physical body began to change in front of everyone. A white-haired, long and narrow figure appeared in front of everyone. The moment his deity appeared, the ancestor of Wu Jiajin Zhongshan also opened his eyes at the same time. Jian Wushuang, who carried the Juyian sword on his back, completely recovered. "Since I have been reincarnated, I must fulfill Wu Shuang's obligation and understand his cause and effect. Jian Wushuang said indifferently but very firm. Even if there is a strong robbery sitting next to him. Wu Changqing and the elder Baimei were shocked. They know about reincarnation, but I have never heard that reincarnation can still be reincarnated with a physical body. And the recovery is too fast. Now Jian Wushuang, even Wu Changqing can't see through. Tribulation. Wu Changqing stood up instantly. He did not expect that Jian Wushuang would be a strong robbery realm. From his perspective, he couldn't see through Jian Wushuang, so he naturally felt that Jian Wushuang was a robbery realm. When they heard the word robbery, the elder Baimei and Wu Qiong were also stunned. Both of them are emperors, and naturally know the horror of the robbery realm. Now the Wu family is up and down, but there are only 5 tribulation realms. 2 in the Wonkage state, and 2 in the Tunak state. An ancestor of the 3 tribulations realm. As a Tianjiao of Mingjiao, Yuqi Mingfeng naturally knew the power of tribulation realm, and was very surprised. What? Chen Qingxian didn't understand. After all, she was just a mundane. Naturally she didn't know the power of the robbery realm. Jian Wushuang did not hesitate. A ray of light broke out between his fingers, and directly killed Chen Qingxian. Understand the cause and effect of Wushuang. At the same time, he put out a hand in the void, and directly caught Wu Di in front of him. Wu Changqing wanted to stop him, but found that he was actually no match for Jian Wushuang in the realm of space. The power of this time and space is dominated by divine power. Even if he became a robbery realm, he was not very good in space, and naturally he couldn't stop Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang, don't go too far. What Chen Qingxian did has nothing to do with this. Wu Changqing persuaded. After all, now Wu Di is on Jian Wu's hands. Yu reading www.akanshu. It seemed that Jian Wushuang had no friendship with their Wu family anymore. Shot directly without any euphemisms. The enemy of Wu is still very important to the Wu family. With sword eyes, it is already destined to go to the gods, and it is not difficult to become an absolute top. Coupled with today's sword bones, future achievements will be even more extraordinary. The ultimate emperor, and even the realm of robbery. That's the calamity of the ultimate divine power. Even the ancestors will value it very much. Can't be killed by Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang squeezed Wu Di's neck, turned his head to look at Wu Changqing, and said coldly, "It's true that it has nothing to do with him, but the cut bone must be brought back. It doesn't belong to him." After finishing speaking, he took out the stolen sword bone from Wu Di's body, directly through his body. After taking it out, Jian Wushuang handed it to Yuqi Mingfeng behind him. Set up a tomb for Wushuan, he is dead. Be regarded as leaving a thought. It is also a relief. With such a talent, it was unlucky to come to Wu's house. Yuqi Mingfeng's eyes reddened, and he took the sword bone, with endless anger in his eyes, looking at the Wu Di who was holding Jian Wu in his hands, and the dead Chen Qingxian. Click. Jian Wushuang threw Wu Di aside, but didn't really kill the opponent. He can feel that the other party has no real hostility towards him. But it's hard to say now. He killed Chen Qingxian. I'm afraid Wu Di can't wait to kill him directly now in his heart. It's a pity that I don't have that strength. Wu Yong was completely frightened by seeing all this. His wife died in front of him instantly, and his son was also taken back by Jian Wushuang. It was a little unacceptable for a while. Wu Qiong helped Wu Di on the ground for the first time, with distress in her eyes, not because of Chen Qingxian, but the current Wu Di. Chapter 56-64. After Jian Wushuang saw it, he ignored it. He could see that Wu Qiong's blood was in Wu Di's body. I'm afraid Wu Yong still doesn't know that his eldest brother has turned himself green. I'm afraid it was also because of Wu Qiong that he seized the sword bones. And Chen Qingxian knew that he would have 80% of the sword bone in his body, because of Wu Qiong. Follow this reasoning. I'm afraid Wu Qiong is the real murderer behind the scenes. Chen Qingxian was tough enough to carry everything down. When Wu Changqing saw this scene, he also understood. At this time, the anger in my heart rose to the extreme. Get out of here. Wu Changqing exploded with a strong divine power. Directly wrapped Wu Qiong and Wu Di, the father and son, and sent them out of the clan hall. He can't go. Jian Wushuang still used the same trick, breaking the space and stopping Wu Qiong. Since Wu Qiong is the real murderer, she can't let it go. Wu Chongqing was completely angry, and there was a murderous look in his eyes. Although Jian Wushuang's strength is rather weird, and he is more adept at mastering space, he is not as good as his divine power. So there is confidence. Jian Wushuang, don't go too far. This is the Wu family. Jian Wushuang shook his head and said, Wu Qiong must die. But this time, whether it was for the sake of face, or for the Wu family's children, Wu Chongqing shot directly. The divine body, that was more than 100,000 times exploded in an instant. Jian Wushuang frowned when he felt this power. With this strength, I can't stop me. The power of the beast on Jian Wushuang suddenly exploded, which also exceeded 100,000 times. He can now double the power of the beast god, and he can increase the divine body to 100,000 times. Naturally not weaker each other. Now he is the identity of this long river of time and space, so naturally he has to use divine power. If it is not a last resort, it is still impossible to use the original strength. Not weak will attract suspicion. When he entered this time and space, the voice of the goddess was still fresh in his memory. This is the opponent's dojo. 9 heavens and 10 places, a complete and powerful space-time, is actually the opponent's dojo. So how strong is the opponent? He can't imagine. This character is much stronger than the gods. While using divine power to protect Yuqi Mifeng, he confronted Wu Chongqing. Chongqing, you are not his opponent. A simple voice came. Jian Wushuang and Wu Chongqing looked at the door of the clan hall at the same time, where was an old man with a childlike face standing, holding a sword upside down in his hand, like a sword, suppressing a party. This is the strongest person in the Wu family. Ancestor. Wu Chongqing put away his momentum and saluted respectfully. The ancestor of the Wu family walked slowly, without any murderous aura. Seeing this, Jian Wushuang also put away his breath. Wu family Wuli, Guyu Jian Wushuang. Both of them reported their names at the same time. The word Guyu represents the time and space of Guyu. Anyone who is strong in Guyu time and space can utter the word Guyu. In Wu Li's eyes, this was also the reason why Jian Wushuang didn't want to reveal his identity. Jian Wushuang sneered in his heart. The name of the ancestor of the Wu family was very similar to that of the Wu family, very rude. Friends, why don't you talk? Wu Li asked. Jian Wushuang nodded and replied, let's talk. He could see that the other party was sincere. Ancestor. Wu Chongqing was puzzled, but Wu Li yelled in a low voice. It's nothing to do with you here. Get out. Although there were complaints, Wu Chongqing was very respectful to the ancestors, and could only leave. At this point, there were only 3 people left in the hall. There was also Yuqi Mifeng, who was suppressed on the side. Jian Wushuang was very polite to this kind of cause and effect. Wu Li also spoke to Yuqi Mifeng very politely. Little friends of Mingjiao, just sit down, my Wu family is rude. This made Yuqi Mifeng a little puzzled. It's fine if you are polite to Jian Wushuang. How can you be so polite to him? Although he is the arrogant of Mingjiao, he is nothing more than an immortal. That would make the other party so polite. Is it because of Jian Wushuang? Thinking of this, I also understand. Strength is respected. Let the ancestors of the Wu family say that Wu Chongqing is inferior to Jian Wushuang. I am afraid that the strength of his cheap nephew is on the same level as the Wu family ancestor, or even stronger. After being polite, Jian Wushuang and Wu Li sat on either side of the main seat. There is no seat position, which also represents equal treatment. Jian Wushuang was also very curious whether the other party was too polite. What is this going to do? Taoist, there is nothing wrong with it. He had just entered this time and space, and many things were not clear. Naturally, I don't want to say anything more, and I still listen to the other party. Don't be found out that he doesn't understand anything when the time comes, and arouse suspicion. Wu Li smiled and said, Wu Shuang Taoist, since it is a happy person, then the old man will just say it. Friends, do you know what this is? Wu Li took out a jade sword. There is a strange pattern on the top, The whole body is turquoise. Jian Wushuang glanced carefully. Although the workmanship was exquisite, there was nothing special about it. It can only be said to be a good object, even the most precious thing. This is... Jian Wushuang looked at Wu Li in confusion. Wu Li smiled awkwardly and said, "Friends of Taoism, since they are all honest with each other, don't have to be so restrained." He obviously didn't believe that Jian Wushuang didn't know this thing. But Jian Wushuang really didn't know. This jade sword does not seem to have anything to do with him. The only thing that can be contacted is that his surname is Jian. Please also ask fellow Taoists to solve your doubts. Jian Wu was sincere and sincere. He could see that the other party didn't seem to be joking. This jade sword might be of special use, and it was related to him. But he did not use the sword here. It can be seen that the jade sword is related to him, probably because of something on his body, such as Jueyan's sword. Wu Li was also taken aback, and found that Jian Wushuang seemed to really know nothing. Friend Taoist really doesn't know this thing. He still couldn't believe it, and at the same time glanced at the Jueyan sword behind Jian Wushuang. He was very familiar with the breath above. Jian Wushuang still shook his head. Seeing this, Wu Li was sure that Jian Wushuang really didn't know. He simply told Yujian's affairs directly. Jian Wushuang felt more incredible the more he listened. It's not that the thing about jade sword is incredible, but that this thing is indeed related to Jueyan's sword, and it has been circulating for a long time. Ancient Wood Continent. The reason why it is named Gumu is because there is an eternal willow in the core of the mainland. That is the core of Gumu Continent. It is also the core place of the ancient wood school of the 8-star Zhongmen. The main structure of this time and space is 9 heavens and 10 earths. The division of forces has a long history, and is related to the 9 heavens and 10 earth. In every place, there is an 8-star sect that has the same lifespan as the heaven and the earth. Then there is the 7-star sect, such as the Qingyan sect in Vietnam. However, the 7-star sects were all established later. The 8-star sect is the true overlord who inherited the Guyu time and space, and the only 9-star sect ancient moon god sect. Chapter 56-65. 9-star sect, only the ancient moon cult, is the real overlord of this time and space. According to some common sense in Wu Li's words, Jian Wushuang knew the judgment of these sections. The 7-star sect is more like a subsidiary force of the 8-star sect, and the 8-star sect is an affiliate of the ancient moon god sect. Divide layer by layer. The forces in the entire Guyu time space are actually one. The 9-star sect is the only one, and only the ancient moon god sect. There are 19 8-star sections. They represent 9 heavens and 10 earth respectively. Then there is the 7-star sect. If you want to open a 7-star sect, you must first be a 7 tribulation realm powerhouse. This made Jian Wushuang very shocked. In the original Morwa time and space, there was only a 7 tribulations realm powerhouse Qishan. But in the time and space of Guyu, is the 7 tribulations realm so worthless? A Yu country has a 7-star sect. But when he understood Guyu time and space a little bit, he would understand. It's not how powerful Guyu time space is. It's that the time for this time and space to appear is too long. If the original Mora spacetime has experienced 5 eras, then Guyua spacetime has at least experienced hundreds of millions of eras. No wonder there are so many strong men born. But after so many years, there are very few 7 tribulations that are really still alive. Most of them are still the powerhouses in the scattered robbery realm, after failing to cross the robbery. The powerhouse of the robbery realm is quite special. Jian Wushuang has known this for a long time. Once the robbery fails, those who are weak will die and die. There are up to the well-known, directly cut off their own catastrophe. Stay in a certain catastrophe forever. Those who have confidence in themselves will be able to overcome the calamity. If they fail, they will either fall or become powerful, and they can be transformed into a loose robbery. Thinking of this, Jian Wushuang thought of the Qishan. With the strength of the Qishan in the 8 tribulations realm, even if he failed to cross the tribulation at the beginning, he should have become a dispersing tribulation powerhouse. Why did he fall? But now in Guyu time and space, He didn't think about more time and space anymore. Now he is more interested in what Wu Li said. According to what the other party said, the Jueyin sword on his body is in a master-servant relationship with the Jade Sword. When his deity appeared, the Jade Sword changed and led him to come. Jian Wushuang drew out the Jueyin sword and handed it to Wu Li. Wu Li also handed the Jade Sword to Jian Wushuang. Two people observe at the same time. Jian Wushuang, who was holding the Jade Sword, truly felt that there was a complete source of divine power in the Jade Sword. It is also mixed with the power of life. Is this refined by Shenmu? Jian Wushuang is the material of the Jade Sword. If it weren't for the origin, he wouldn't be able to see it at all. Wu Li admired Jueyin Jian. He smiled knowingly when Jian Wushuang discovered the special Jade Sword, and said, "The Taoist friends are like torches, and they are really extraordinary. It took years to find the Jade Sword and the tree. Related." For this kind of bragging, Jian Wushuang didn't care. What he is even more curious now is why the two are connected. The origin of this Jade Sword is very similar to the Jueyin sword. In other words, it was very similar to the Jueyin sword he had nurtured. All have the power of life. The connection between the two has the reason of vitality. But he clearly came from time and space, a tributary of the distant starry sky. This Guyu time and space is probably the 9-core time and space in the starry sky. How can there be a connection so far apart? Although curious, Jian Wushuang did not expose the life force in his body. He does not intend to be exposed in the future. Because of this ability, I am afraid it has something to do with the Guma school. That is the 8-star sect. Possess the superpower of the 8 Tribulations realm powerhouse. More powerful than the Temple of Qi. Although there are no strong people in the 8 Tribulations realm in the contemporary era. But there is a strong man who has failed to cross the tribulation in the 8 Tribulations realm. That is also stronger than the gods. Not to mention Jian Wushuang now. So it cannot be exposed. Otherwise it will be a disaster. After playing with Jade Sword for a while, Jian Wushuang returned it to Wu Li. But the other person stroked Jueyin sword with a look of reluctance, which made him feel a little funny. Seeing him returning the Jade Sword, Wu Li was too embarrassed to go to observe, so he handed the Jueyin sword to Jian Wushuang. After Jian Wushuang received it, he was not in the scabbard behind the income this time, but in the mustard seeds. After all, the current Jueyin sword contained a secret, and he didn't want to be so swagger. And even Wu Li could feel the speciality of Jueyin sword. The opponent is just a powerful person in the 3 Tribulations realm. Although he has mastered the universe, he is a master of the universe. But this kind of strength is okay in Vietnam. Looking at Guma continent, it is still not enough. After all, the top sect of the ancient Wood continent, but has the power of the 8 Tribulations realm. There are probably many 7 Tribulation realms. A master of the universe in the 3 Tribulations realm, what counts? When you encounter a more powerful Tribulation realm powerhouse, I am afraid that you can see the extraordinary of Jueyin sword at a glance. He had to refine the life force in the Jueyin sword. Can't be ostentatious. Friends of Taoism, you can find the similarities between the two. Wu Li asked. Jian Wushuang nodded. There is nothing to hide. The power of life is indeed the same. Both are the same as the vitality of vegetation. In that case, I'll just say it. Wu Li went straight to the subject this time. Jian Wushuang also looked forward to, although the life force is special, is not worthy of Wu Li's treatment. I'm afraid this jade sword has a usefulness he doesn't know. Before Wu Li spoke, the barrier had already been laid out. Yu Qi Mifeng couldn't hear the conversation between the two of them. You can only see where the two have been sitting, and time seems to freeze. Wu Li's voice was very low, and his face was shaken. Friends, you know that the 1,000 willows in the center of Gumu continent are actually wan willows, the most precious treasure left by the goddess who opened up time and space. Jian Wushuang shuffled to his feet and frowned, unable to believe his ears. Wan Lu. This reminded him of the forest of 10,000 treasury. At the same time, I also understood why the life force in Jueyin sword was so similar to that in Jade sword. His life force is realized from the origin of all things. And in the origin of all things, There is also the origin of the forest of all treasures. No wonder the two are connected. Now he finally understands. Both are vegetation life. That is the willow sacred tree left by the goddess, which is much stronger than the forest of the 10,000 treasures. If he can get it, let alone breaking through the tribulation realm, reaching the 7 tribulation realm is not a problem. With a move in his heart, he asked a little excitedly. Could it be that this has something to do with Wanlu Shinmu? This made him couldn't believe it. If it really matters, this matter will not be that simple. It's about Wanlu Shinmu. If it is spread out, even if the two of them have 10 lives, they are not enough to die. Wu Li was also very frightened by this sentence, and at the same time the barrier was thickened. Friends of Taoism, don't say it like this. Wu Li shook his head, and then said, I don't know if it has anything to do with Shinmu, but the Guma faction keeps looking for people to find this thing, and there are big secrets hidden in it. Chapter 56-66. According to Wu Li, although the Wanlu Shinmu is in the Guma sect, the other party cannot open the Shinmu. This jade sword is probably the key to unlock the sacred tree. Wu Li said vaguely, but Jian Wushuang was not stupid. He can think of it. It's just such an important thing. Why would you tell him an outsider? Thinking of this, Jian Wushuang had already begun to ponder the other party's intentions. Wu Li also saw his doubts and quickly explained. The Taoist is not from the ancient Wood continent. I don't know. Although the Wanlu Shinmu is in the ancient Wood sect, it does not necessarily need to be a disciple of the ancient Wood sect if you want to open it. As soon as this remark came out, Jian Wushuang was a little surprised. In the Hengmu era of the ancient Wood continent, a lord of Hengmu appeared. He also used the sword to have the power of the tribulation realm. He was a powerful man in the 6th tribulation realm. He used the 3-foot wooden sword to unlock the sacred wood, took away a chance from it, and became a powerhouse in the 7 tribulations realm. In the later stage, he soared to the sky and became a powerhouse in the 8 tribulations realm in half a step. He was originally a powerhouse in the 6 tribulations realm, and it didn't sound like he had broken through much. However, in how many 6 tribulations realm, only one can become a 7 tribulations realm powerhouse, and besides, he can reach the half-step 8 tribulations realm. Even if it fails to cross the robbery, it can also be converted into a casual repair. It's a pity that the opponent, like the gods, has a mortal heart. Turn on the sacred tree. Jian Wushuang took a breath, very excited. If this can be opened, his chance of a robbery will come. Not only can he break through, maybe he can quickly become a superpower in the tribulation realm. After seeing Jian Wushuang's longing look, Wu Li struck the iron while it was hot, and then said, Friends, do you know where does the Lord of Hengmu come from? I don't know. Jian Wushuang naturally didn't know. Wu Li replied, The Lord of Hengmu is a native of you, and the sword tomb is now the place where he sits and transforms. When the Lord of Eternal Wood failed to cross the tribulation, and only a breath remained, he returned to his home country and sat on a bitter mountain. After hearing this, Jian Wushuang was also shocked. Doesn't this mean that Wu Li has been inherited from the Lord of Hengmu? A half-step inheritance of the 8 tribulations realm. That's the power comparable to the gods. Wu Li saw Jian Wushuang's thoughts, shook his head and smiled bitterly. Unfortunately, the Lord of Hengmu left only this jade sword, and disappeared without leaving any bones. It's right to think about it. If Wu Li could get the other party's inheritance, it would still be just a 3 tribulations realm like it is now. Even a pig can become a powerhouse in the 5 tribulations realm. After hearing so much, Jian Wushuang probably understood the other party's intentions. This is the meaning of pulling him to work together. Open Wanlu Shinmu. Not to mention becoming a super strong like Lord of Hengmu. At least it would be no problem for Wu Li to go further. Jian Wushuang could see that the other party was not a powerhouse in the scattered tribulation realm, and should have been suppressing his own strength. Not sure about crossing the robbery. The old man has said so much. I think fellow Taoists should understand my intentions. There are the core inheritance and secrets of the ancient Wood continent in the Wanlu Shinmu. You and I will join hands. If you really enter it, You once say that you will become the Lord of Hungmu. It's not difficult for a person like that in the world to enter the 5 tribulations in his life. The Lord of Hungmu, as a half-step 8 tribulation realm, is indeed a figure in the world. The entire ancient wood continent is also an 8 tribulation realm powerhouse, and also a sand tribulation powerhouse, the ancestor of the ancient wood school. I don't know how many years I have lived, and I won't be born at all. The original Lord of Hungmu was almost an invincible figure in Gumu continent. If he can successfully overcome the tribulation, I am afraid he will be the only real powerhouse of the 8 tribulation realm in ancient wood continent. Although Guyu Shirkong is one of the 9 cores, there are still very few true 8 tribulations realm. This temptation is too big. The other party obviously took out the matter of Lord Hungmu to lure him, but he really eats this set now. There is only one way to improve your strength quickly. He entered the ancient moon time and space in order to become the superpower in the robbery realm. Return to the Temple of the Gods to solve the true monarch of the primitive universe, and extinction. Extinction is the #1 mortal enemy. The 2 can only survive one. He had a hunch that even if he had been hiding in Guyu time and space, Miesheng would eventually come and look for him. The other party had laid out from Morwo's time and space. How could he give up like this? If you want to break the game, you can only improve your strength quickly. Before the Temple of Qishan is destroyed, the extinction will be solved. Miesheng is a half-step 7 tribulations realm powerhouse. He needs at least the 6 tribulations realm combat power to be able to return. But even if it came to Guyu time and space, it would be extremely difficult to become the 6 tribulations realm. No one dared to say that any emperor, even a powerful person in the 5 tribulations realm, would definitely be able to become a 6 tribulations realm. Even if Jian Wushuang had the confidence, he didn't have enough time to slow down. Right now is a great opportunity, the opportunity to allow him to break through quickly. Although I don't know what secret realm is in the Wanlu Shinmu. What chance you can get from reading www.akanshu.com. But as long as he can improve quickly, he wants to give it a try. This time he was lucky. He didn't expect to encounter this kind of thing just when he came here. If it weren't for Wu Li's greed, I'm afraid he wouldn't tell him at all, and would even kill people for treasure. Fortunately, his strength is enough to shock the opponent. Otherwise a hard fight is inevitable. Wu Li is the lord of the universe. If he returns to his dojo, Jian Wushuang has nothing to do with him. On the contrary, Wu Li left his dojo and couldn't do anything with Jian Wushuang. So the 2 can be honest with each other. Only in this way can we achieve win-win cooperation. Cooperation? Jian Wushuang groaned. My heart moved to my heart. But I couldn't believe the other party's words. Wu Li also understood that it was a matter of great importance, and had already had a countermeasure in his heart. All the plans he laid out were spoken out. Although the status of the old man in the Azure Cloud School is not top, but it is also a high level. And I have a concubine in the Ancient Wood School. Her strength is not as good as mine, but the background is not weak. Your Excellency enters the Azure Cloud sect and becomes the core. And then you can go to the Guma sect to participate in the highest sacred meeting of the Guma continent, and you will have the opportunity to meet the Wanlu Shinmu in the world. The meaning is very simple. That is, he first entered the King Yanzong, and then with the help of the background of the King Yanzong, he planned to participate in the holy meeting in the future. Then when the sacred meeting was held, the gods unconsciously entered the sacred tree. It sounds simple. It's really hard to do it. The key is that he is just the emperor now. The other party mistakenly regarded him as a robbery. Seeing the sincerity of the other party, Jian Wushuang also told the truth, telling him that he was only an emperor. Chapter 56-67. Are you the emperor? Wu Li stood up directly, his eyes staring out. He is also a person who has seen the world, but he has been slowed down for a while. Jian Wushuang was a little surprised to see the other party so surprised. At the beginning in time and space of Morwa, There were characters like Emperor Jueyan. How could there be a few heavenly guardians in such a big Guyu time and space? Friend Wushuang, don't deceive the old. If you are really an emperor, how can you master space so skillfully? Wu Li asked suspiciously. Jian Wushuang pointed out that it was a black hole. Then the black hole was destroyed and turned into a mystery. His current state is very close to the universe Mahayana. A perfect universe, 10,000 black holes. There is already half of Jian Wushuang's origin space. If it is an ordinary master of the universe, it is said that Wu Li in front of him, although the other party is the master of the universe, he has less than 3,000 black holes. But in each black hole, there is divine power. Although it is a little different from the pure origin, it is not far from there. Jian Wushuang's spatial realm was about twice as powerful as the opponent. This made Wu Li amazed. But in terms of combat power, it also has a lot to do with it. Jian Wushuang's strength is not weaker than the Three Tribulations realm. Although Guyu's time and space are large, there are really few who can compete with the Lord of the Universe at the highest level. Countless times have fallen, and there are only one or two emperors who still exist today. Wu Li's eyelids trembled and he couldn't let go of it for a long time, and exclaimed, "The rumors are really true. The heaven-defying emperor can really match the Lord of the Universe." "Rumors?" Jian Wushuang said in surprise. "There should be a lot more powerful than me in the huge Guyu time and space." When he heard that he was stronger than him, Wu Li quickly shook his head and said firmly, "Impossible, the strongest emperor against the sky today. I have heard that he is a great priest in the dark, and he survives longer than me. It's all long, and his peers are in the Five Tribulations realm, but he is still at the top. It is rumored that he has cultivated a certain secret method, and needs a secret method to break through. But his strength is not as terrifying as you. A good friend of mine has seen each other. The realm is not as good as you, but the combat power is unknown. Not as good as him. That combat power will not work." Now Jian Wushuang felt that his own realm was a bit low, and he was about to not match his strength. Since the success of Hadao, he seems to have never used his full combat power. Even a thought of the universe has not been used. Although the star catalog is his strongest whole card, he has used it when dealing with the avatar of extinction. But without the blessing of the universe, in his opinion, it is far from reaching the peak. If Wu Li were to let Wu Li know what he was thinking, I'm afraid he would go crazy. Not to mention the emperor. Even if he is a strong man in the second tribulation realm, with his strength and background, he will wake up with a smile when he sleeps. Jian Wushuang himself, he was a little dissatisfied with his current strength. Really want to reach the extreme, Jian Wushuang has the confidence to kill the Lord of the Universe at the emperor level. Even within the opponent's universe, he has a lot of confidence. The other party has the origin universe. He has a thought of the universe. And it's still a moving dojo. That's the most terrifying method. The most perfect universe, 10,000 black holes. Although Jian Wushuang is still far behind, as long as he has sufficient treasures and opportunities, he can reach that realm quickly. Where is Guyua divine religion? Jian Wushuang suddenly thought of the 9-star sect. 8-star sects have appeared strong in the 8 tribulations realm, and even if there are no real strong in the 8 tribulations realm, I am afraid that there are also powerful sand tribulations strong in the 8 tribulations realm. What about 9-star sect, ancient moon god sect? This is the most powerful force in Guyu time and space. How strong will the strongest emperor within them be? It's just that when he said these words, Wu Li was stunned for a moment, and then squinted at Jian Wushuang, as if Jian Wushuang was joking. Guyua divine cult. Although there are all experts in the tribulation realm inside, these experts in the tribulation realm are not very brilliant when they are emperors, and they are far inferior to the great priest. The ceremony was delayed for a while, but it still got the wrong meaning. Fortunately, Jian Wushuang noticed it, nodded quickly, and pretended to say deeply, "These great abilities, so powerful, are often extremely common when they are weak. Like me, I am afraid it will be very difficult to become a catastrophe." Taoist Wushuang is too worried. As long as it is not for practicing special secret methods, it is not easy to become a catastrophe. As Wu Li spoke, He brought up some rumors in Guyu time and space. I don't know whether the other party's temperament is like this, or because he has been in a high position for too long, and there is no peer chatting, and he keeps talking. If Jian Wushuang hadn't come from another time and space, he would have been impatient. Fortunately, he needs to be aware of these rumors now. Otherwise he will not know if he asks 3 questions at that time. Will he be suspicious like a fool? Wu Li watched Jian Wushuang listen with gusto, and completely open the chattering box. Guyu time and space, the waves are magnificent, and there are countless opportunities. It is not difficult to become a robbery. The difficulty is that each calamity is powerful, and it has wiped out how many Calamity Realm powerhouses do not know. The inheritance of the Tribulation Realm alone could not be counted in Guyu time and space. The accumulated experience of becoming a robbery is extremely strong. That's why Wu Li felt that it was not difficult to become a catastrophe. The hard part is how to finish the road behind the Tribulation Realm. From the first calamity to the 9th calamity, although the 8 Tribulations Realm is rare and incomparable, there are still some rumors after all. But the existence of the 9 Tribulations Realm has never been heard of. Even in the ancient Moon God sect, there is not a 9 Tribulations Realm powerhouse. The only recorded 9 Tribulations Realm powerhouse is the Celestial Lady, who opened up the ancient moon time and space. But after opening up this ancient moon time and space, the goddess fell. There will be no one in the 9 Tribulations Realm behind, and the strongest is only half a step in the 9 Tribulations Realm. Of course, some people brag about being able to match the 9 Tribulations Realm, but no one has seen the 9 Tribulations Realm. Who knows if they can match the 9 Tribulations Realm? Guyu time and space did not. However, there are strong people in the 8 Tribulations Realm, and when traveling to other time and space, they have encountered the strong in the 9 Tribulations Realm, and travel the endless starry sky. The divine body is the size of a universe extremely dazzling. Even the 8 Tribulations Realm could not be approached, let alone stepped forward to talk. Jian Wushuang was obsessed with listening, especially when I heard the 9 Tribulations Realm travel the starry sky. The divine body is the size of the universe. Even the strong of the 8 Tribulations Realm is not qualified to approach. How strong does the other party have to be? Teacher Xianyi, is that level? Jian Wushuang had a lot of doubts in his heart. Like the treasure of time and space, I am afraid it was created by these powerful people. 9 Tribulations Realm, the same eternal existence. It is also a transcendent body, free from control and time. At ease. When he reached that level, he must travel the entire starry sky. Read everything in unlimited time. The two talked more and more vigorously, but forgot the time. Chapter 56-68. Now the outside world is rumored that a mysterious strongman has appeared in the Wu family. And the strong of Mingjiao also came to Wu's house to find Wei Qi Mingfeng. Let's be here today. Wu Li said. Wu Shuang Taoist fellow, I have already transmitted the voice of the deacon of Qingyan sect. You can go to Qingyan sect at any time. And when you arrive in Qingyan sect, let's talk about it in detail. Jian Wushuang nodded and replied. Then I will be in Qingyanzong, waiting for your news. The matter of Wanlu Shinmu is not that simple. It needs to be discussed in the long term. Wu Li's plan alone has a long list. He first entered the Qingyanzong as a friend of Wu Li, and then went to the Gumu sect as a disciple of the Qingyanzong to participate in the holy meeting. It's just that the time of the holy meeting is different. Every holy meeting, there will be a saint of ancient wood school. Wu Li learned from his concubine that the contemporary saints are about to cross the catastrophe, and there is no certainty, but they are not reconciled to become a powerful sabotage. And now they are already explaining the funeral. The two of them started the layout at this time, and it was not too late. Until that saint falls, the Gumu sect will take precautions, start the holy meeting, recruit all the powerhouses of the ancient wood continent, go to the core of the ancient wood continent, and participate in the holy assembly. It's a pity that the Guma school only has saints, not saints. Otherwise Jian Wushuang could do it. The two tore off the enchantment, and Yu Qi Mingfeng was finally relieved to see that the two were in peace. Brother Wuli, I'll say goodbye first. Jian Wushuang hugged his fists, and then a trace of thought power wrapped Xiaoming Wang Wei Qi Mingfeng, and left the hall directly toward the space. Feeling Jian Wushuang's departure, Wuli pondered for a long time. This time he was lucky. Such a great opportunity fell on him. Originally, he himself had hoped to open the Wanlu Shinmu. But unfortunately the life force above the jade sword gradually lost, which reduced the probability of success a lot. It's just that he didn't tell Jian Wushuang. Generally, those who open the sacred tree of the willows are the ancient wood sect powerhouses, and those special life powers are dominated by those people. Ordinary sect, not qualified to get it at all. Hey, I hope I didn't see the wrong person. Wu Li's figure also faintly disappeared. The hall fell into silence. The Wu family matter is not a turmoil, and very few people know it. Not long after Jian Wushuang left, news came out that Wu Li was receiving friends, which was considered to have hidden Jian Wushuang's reincarnation identity. It only took 3 days. Jian Wushuang returned to the peak and formally stepped into the magnificent ancient moon time and space. And just arrived, there was a big chance. Among 10 people, his luck can be said to be top-notch. Other people's luck is not so good. Ancient Wood Continent, Green Grass 16 Kingdoms. Yu country is just one of them. Is considered a medium-sized country. It is not the 8-star sect Ancient Wood School that governs the 16 kingdoms, but the largest space-time secret realm above the Ancient Wood Continent. It contains the strongest god-level country Stone Kingdom. 10,000 years after the reincarnation of the 10 people in the Qishan Temple, a peerless arrogant appeared in Shurgua, was born as an immortal. He became an absolute perfection for thousands of years. He was almost invincible at the same level, and was already able to match ordinary robbers. A body of flame power, straddling the sky. The phoenix eyes open and the sun rises. Fan Tianfeng is the reincarnation of Fan Feng, the head of the 18 gods in the Qishan Temple. She and Jian Wushuang were reincarnated to the Gumo continent together, but their backgrounds were very different. Fan Feng's identity after being reincarnated is no less than that of the Temple of Qishan, is the flame Hui of an ancient family with absolute blood. In fact, it has taken 10,000 years to return to its peak, which is normal speed, even a bit slow. But she is completely integrated into the cultivation system of Guyu time and space, which is equivalent to recultivation once, so the speed is so slow. The strength is not improved, but it is very significant. Now her combat power is several times stronger than before her reincarnation. Otherwise, it would not be invincible at the same level in the Stone Country. I am afraid that it is only the Tianjiao of the Ancient Wood School that can be compared with it. The Saintess of Ancient Wood? Fan Feng's mouth rose up, bathing his body in flames. She is now the descendant of the descendants of the flame god's direct line, the most dense blood, and she has a very high status, and she naturally disdains the position of the saint. Even if she has been practicing in the Stone Country, she can break through and become a catastrophe. In the dojo of the flame gods, Fan Tianfeng had received a voice from the ancestor, asking her to participate in the Gumu Saint meeting 10 years later, to compete for the qualifications of the saint. Although a little puzzled, she couldn't refute the ancestor's order. Besides, she came to Guyu time space just to become stronger, and there is no reason not to go. At the same time, the Tianjiao of the 16 kingdoms almost all received the same order, to go to the Gumu sect to participate in the holy meeting. Regardless of gender, is not only for the position of the saint, but also because this time the holy meeting will give birth to 4 places. This place is very important to many superpowers. Emperor and Jiejing there are 4. So this time, not only is the battle between the emperor and the emperor, but also the battle will be personally end. Yu Kingdom, within the 7-star sect Qingyan sect. Jian Wushuang has entered the Azure Cloud sect for thousands of years, but this time is too short for practitioners. So much so that he has been here for so long, and he probably didn't even understand the Azure Cloud sect thoroughly, let alone become the core. Although he is very powerful, he is still an outside deacon, and usually handles trivial things. This is still due to the effect of Wu Li's personal recommendation. If there is no recommendation, he might not even be the deacon of the outer door. Can only be an errand runner. I have seen it, deacon. On this day, Jian Wushuang went to the Shinji Hall as usual, and all the outer disciples he met respectfully saluted him. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly without stopping, and went straight to the backyard of the Shinji Hall. This place is the stronghold of Qinjianmen, and sect missions are also issued here. Jian Wushuang needs to come once a year. Sometimes 3 or 4 times a year, after 10,000 years. He is already familiar with the road. Brother Wushuang, I came here quite early today. In the backyard, there was a side hall. Jian Wushuang heard a familiar cry as soon as he entered it. Jian Wushuang also hurriedly clasped his fists and replied, "Isn't this the elder Mu Chen's longevity? He is kind to me and wants to find a treasure." After he entered the Azure Cloud sect, because of Wu Li's relationship, he went to the sect of Elder Mu Chen. The opponent's strength is not weak, Wu Li, and his background in the sect is also very hard. Following each other over the years, I didn't suffer. The main reason is that the Elder Mu Chen has a relationship with the royal family of the Yu Kingdom. Wu Li, this is to let him indulge in each other, so that he can start the layout. He entered the Azure Cloud sect all these years, almost always to please the Mu Chen elder. It was a coincidence that this elder Mu Chen also valued him very much. Chapter 56-69. When he entered the trial of King Yanzong, he used the capital of the emperor to explode 90,000 times of supernatural power, with amazing potential and not weakening some of the core disciples in the door. Coupled with Wu Li's relationship, he was cultivated as a confidant. Many things within minutes are left to Jian Wushuang. The affairs of Liana's concubine were all handled by Jian Wushuang before and after running. Now that he has a big birthday, Jian Wushuang can't help but fall. If this doesn't follow the message from Wu Li, he will come to the Shinji Hall to give the elder Mu Chen the common flower vine. This thing grows in the territory of Vietnam. It is not rare, but it is a little troublesome to get it. For Jian Wushuang, this is not a problem. 100 flower vine? When heard this name, the person who leaked out of surprise after the case reminded, "Don't blame you for talking. This 100 flower vine is not simple. It is hard to get the strongest person. It is better to buy some ready-made." Ku Jian Wushuang insisted again and again, and the other party didn't have much to say, so he took out some news about buy-waiting and handed it over. The news of buy-waiting is here, you can read it. In the eyes of the other party, Jian Wushuang also has a background, and the emperors who can enter the Divine Machine Hall are also from big families. Nature and Jian Wushuang are treated equally. If they are ordinary deacons with no background, they will make things difficult and get some benefits. Jian Wushuang leaked a smile, and after thanking him, he copied a copy of the message in the jade slip and left the Shinji Hall. After leaving the Shinjitang, he went straight to his cave. That is King Yanzong, an inconspicuous position on the mountainside of Li. On the whole mountain, he is a cave mansion. The power of this place is average, and other deacons don't like it. Jian Wushuang is very satisfied with this place, because it is secluded. After entering the cave, he directly opened the forbidden formation, then took out a simple yellow mirror, tapped it lightly, and a figure appeared vaguely on the upper hand side. "Brother Wu Li, this time Elder Mu Chen will go to the king's capital for his birthday. This is a rare opportunity." Jian Wushuang couldn't restrain his excitement. Has been planning for 10,000 years, and now the first step is about to take it out. Wu Li's face in the mirror was dark. He was not very concerned about Elder Mu Chen's affairs. He reminded, "Which one of the Gumu sect I have recently lost contact with? I'm afraid there will be a big move recently. Be careful." "That Mukin sighed," Jian Wushuang said in surprise. "It's been so long, if you give up, wouldn't it be a pity?" Now he is a little hesitant. Mukin is the prince of the Yu Kingdom, and the contemporary female emperor of the Yu Kingdom is his sister. The most important thing is that today's eldest princess is recruiting horsemen. and that eldest princess is very strong, almost sweeping across the realm of Yu Kingdom Emperor, is the most promising candidate from the Yu country to go to the Gu Mu sect to fight for the position of the saint. Wu Li and Jian Wushuang were both interested in each other's point, and they went to cheer Mukin. Although the strength of the elder Mukin is average, he has a good younger sister, who is one of the best superpowers in the Yu Kingdom. After all, the current Azure Cloud Gate doesn't even have a real Six Tribulations realm, only the power of the Six Tribulations realm. And that eldest princess has no father since childhood. Mu Qin has taken good care of her, and the two of them have a very good relationship. If it weren't for this level of relationship, with Mu Qin's strength, Jian Wushuang would never talk to him. After Wu Li heard it, he groaned for a while, and then said, Mu Qin will go to the royal capital this birthday. By then you and I will go together. I have already figured out a countermeasure. After an agreement, the two broke off contact. Everything is under control. Is just a countermeasure. Jian Wushuang did not ask carefully. It is estimated that he can only say it after meeting. But the general strategy, I still can't make it to the table. It didn't hurt to let him go to be a servant. But I heard that the eldest princess had a big waist. He was afraid that he could not eat it. All for the sake of chance, fight it. Jian Wushuang gritted his teeth and prepared to go to find Baihua Vine. Yuegua Jing's Hufu. This place is south, and there are many mountains and forests. This is not surprising. The ancient wood continent, chance completely covers the mountains and forests. The civil engineering is vigorous. Baihua vines grow on Baihua Mountain in Sakaishu. Jian Wushuang tore through the void, and in a day's effort he reached Baihua Mountain. This time he also tried it. This Baihua Mountain is guarded by the flower demon, and among them is the flower demon of the catastrophe level. 100-flowered vines die every day, can be extended by 3 days at most. That's why this place has not been divided by some big forces. The main reason is that the flower demon king on the mountain is too strong, rumored to rival the Four Tribulations realm. The Lord of the Universe has come, and everyone has to walk around. It's not that easy to get it, and it withers every day. With bad luck, the vines withered, and people didn't get out of Baihua Mountain. Baihua Mountain, divided into 6 floors. The lower 3 levels are okay. There are very few flower monsters at the tribulation level. Can go up to 3 floors, almost all of them are flower monsters. As for the vines, it is not the only treasure on the mountain. Jian Wushuang needs to reach the 4th floor to be able to search for 100-flower vine. If you want to calculate the exact time, you need to enter the 5th floor. It is 1 month before Mukin's birthday. He needs to sneak into the 4th floor and wait in secret. When the time is almost the same, he will go to the 5th floor. If you find Baihua Vine, you have to leave as soon as possible and arrive at the capital at the first dry time. Fortunately, it's not far from the royal capital here. The peak speed of can be reached in 1 hour. The only change is going down the mountain. On the flower vine the flower demon resides. Once it's stolen, it will definitely attract the flower demon to chase and kill. I want to go down the mountain in 1 day. Even Jian Wushuang is not too sure. After all, this is the place of the flower demon. If it is a single 3 tribulation realm flower fairy, he has the ability to get rid of it. There are still many flower monsters in the 3 tribulations realm on the 5th floor. Even the flower demon king would go to the 5th floor from time to time. If I meet that one, it's over. For a short time, I can't get out of it. Is really not good. He can only use the life force. These flower monsters should not understand the special life force. Of course he was also afraid that other practitioners would see it here. Now that he also has a general understanding of Guyu time and space, Wu Li was able to see the special life force from the Jueyan sword. Is because Wu Li originally had a jade sword, others may not be able to see it. This old thing, how can it be a bite? Jian Wushuang shook his head helplessly. He is very passive now. 100-flower vine is actually nothing special. It can enhance divine power, and can also be used to refine divine pills. But these can also be done after withering. The most precious thing about fresh vines is that they can nurture their original supernatural power. has a pure source of vegetation within it, which can make the divine power extremely strong. Divine power has different origins. If you want to maintain a strong divine power, you need not only the secret method and the realm, but more importantly, the nourishment of the treasures. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.